Hashtag made a power to place. The things you'll do for friends. All right, well, everybody in the COC, put those likes right there and you follow me. And everybody in that COC, put the likes right there. Subscribe to me. Hey, Punk, look. Now, while he stands here on stuff, you notice this man did not have his hands up. Power of the Force got them all ripped and cut. Now Haslab's got to fix what Kenner fucked up. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4. Hope, the Menace, Awaken Rogue One. Hans the man, Luke's got bang, but you don't even have a gun. Punk, this guy's just wired too easy. I know everything that he's gonna say about me, and I know that it's gonna hurt, so I'll try not to be rude, but why the fuck I paid $6 for this dude? So yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm old. Croak's just an alias, but I thought it was bold. C3PO is the worst figure sold. Popped up in the chest, but not like you, Punk, so it's not a legit workout. He's just bigger junk. But he's getting my action. He got screwed by Kenner. And he's been torn apart and rebuilt like his last name was Jenner. It's hard to try and judge this dude, but I have no idea what he's been through. But I know something about R2. He didn't stop with Luke alone, and that's didn't include you. What's the matter, dog? You feel rejected? Did you read your script? I don't know what the hell you expected. And Dagobah might as well have been Paris for R2 to find out what real adventure is. Without them, without you, they met Yoda. Now take a look. Both of them are showing up on Grogu's Mandalorian hook. I wish this beat would end. I wanted to keep you as a friend, but Punk, there's just no way I'll do this again. Oh man, I can't believe I hit send. I wish I was going a cappella. This is getting pretty hard to do, fella. Gotta put it to an end right now. Oh shit, somehow. Alright. That's as far as we go, Punk. Never ask me to do that again.
Listen. Welcome to Monday Night Tour Ramblings, where I will ramble on for 3+ hours. And wow, I thought I had a lot to talk about after yesterday's debacle of what YouTube did. But man, I'm going off script right away. And after I kind of woke up from a nap, and I don't even know if I was really napping, somebody was messaging me on Instagram saying they can't watch that Viper Island guy anymore. And I said, hey, what did he say? Besides that he's stealing stuff. So I went and watched it because he told me a couple things, and I went, oh, mystery is solved. So during the beginning where he starts bagging on everyone that's bagging on him because he does everything so great and he does all the hard work, he, in the first, I don't know, few minutes, says that he doesn't take money from members or live chats or anything like that because that's really scummy. Now, let's think about the troll that we had a few weeks ago. What was his point? What did he say? That basically you're making money from YouTube and you're double dipping? He pretty much said word for word. So, as I know you now watch this show along with so many others, Viper Island, what's your name? Liam? Or is that, no, yeah, Liam, right? I think that's your name. You ever want to do a debate one-on-one live? I will send you a link. And we can do it. All right? Now, I'm sure you will try and allude to this at some point, but I guarantee you'll never come live. You'll never show up at a con. You know, it's one thing when you try and go after the small channels, but then you even tried to do it to the 3POA. Now, in all honesty, I don't really care. That's not the type of channel that I'm into. I don't watch the 3POA. Obviously, we live in the same community, so I know what's going on. But you even attack people or go after people and steal content of people that have never done anything to you. So I'll say it right now, man. You want to do a debate? explain your merits. Where do you get all your inside info from, which always happens to come out right after, I don't know, let's say the full force almost every single time. This time it was after a Toy Kind of Mood did their stuff. After you took the stuff from Laser Pants, you're more than welcome, and we can have this debate. And I'll also ask you how you got so many subscribers, and we can pull up where I've already done it before and show you where I believe you bought subscribers, because the graphs don't lie. They really don't. You don't get a bunch of subscribers. When I say a bunch of subscribers, I mean thousands for one straight month, and then it just dropped down. So I know you say you're living in our heads, and in all honesty, we live off your stupidity because it's absolutely amazing. But thank you for that. I'm sure you'll delete it, and I screenshotted it, so I do have it. I'm glad that you like the guy who finally let me know who he was. Roman. Stop looking over there, Roman. Who he was. So I think the culprit, the troll, has now been figured out. And thank you very much. I don't watch your stuff, but someone is always messaging me about things I don't watch. I mean, always. So quickly, I want to say thank you to Graph. So he is a double dip this. Thank you very much. I love double dipping, and I'm going to say hi to the chat along with so many of the people that I am double dipping against with their channel membership. So Caro is in the house, stopping by super early just so I can say I beat my brother here. However, I can't stay. Work comes early. Have a great stream. We'll watch the replay. Hey, I have to work early in the morning. Stanley Everhart is here. Yeah, right? Everhart. I said it right. We have Daredevil Dave, another channel member that I am obviously ripping off, double dipping. Johnny Reno is here. GI Bro, another channel member. David R. Woody Triple 2, who is here. We have Eric Thurman, Cobweb Collector, who he posted a picture of him and his son as Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I have one from when we went to Disney back in, I want to say 2013 or so, with my son, and I posted and tagged him, and I thought it was pretty funny. We have a Jay Astro is here. I'm here to sulk alone in the corner of the chat. We have a Travis from A Toy Kinda Mood is here. We have Action Figs, one of the moderators. We have a Legend series is here. Check out his channel. Matthew Matson, obviously the first moderator, one that I talked to on a lot. We have Aaron the Toy Enhancer, Graph, who I have already mentioned. We have Nolan. So I believe everyone says that once Nolan shows up, you're ToyTube official. I think Nolan became ToyTube official when he started showing up here, and then was able to start spreading who he is from being a punk. Hi, it's me is here. Punk on Punk, an interview with Lawrence Larry and his other brother. I'm not gonna lie, I've thought about pre-recording a Thursday with a friend, so when I don't have one, I can use myself. Capitan is here. We have my buddies Customs here, telling you all to smack that like button. No, it is not demonetized at all. You can swear at the beginning. All it does is it takes some people away from monetizing on your channel. That's actually not how it works. But Wraith Mace is here. We have 3-star draws here. You're right. He is better than Nas and Jay-Z. And I'll tell you what he was going to do, well, what he sent me. Maybe I'll read it one day. Big M is here. We have a DJ of 5 Ashes here. Newfie 4024 is here. Krusty Old Crow did show up for his own video. That was Krusty Old Crow. If you didn't know, go check out his channel. I know he dropped his video. I didn't finish watching it because I was taking my nap and, well, all the stuff that happened yesterday. We have Payne's toy sample. Did you get off the workout machine? You're always in the gym now, posting pictures more than a bodybuilder. Allison Troy is here, who we will definitely be discussing. May the power of the forest. Crimson Cobra Commander, Allison Troy. It's been a year that she has been a member, and thank you very much. Thank you to every single one of your channel members, no matter what anyone thinks, no matter what anyone says. It is greatly appreciated, and if you think that it's double dipping, I apologize. Viper Island, you can come back in here and we can have the debate I'm throwing it out to you. Again, it has to be live. I don't do things not live, you know. That's a hi to Eric Thurman. I think that I did already. Let's see here. There's a few people here. I already said this super chat, which I do appreciate. Kenzo's Creation, who is here, who, if you have not watched his Power of the Force video, it is really good. He is, I mean, the beginning of it is awesome. Like, I think that may be the best content that has been created since I create content. But you need to go watch that one because it is pretty good. Tony's Fig says he won't do that. He's a pussy. We know that. Liquid Identity is here. Oh Lord, Tuber drama again. Viper Island is like the scumbag soap opera character that never goes away. Wow, you nailed it. I'm not even saying it's toy drama. He just steals stuff, and he was obviously. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, you can't say something like that and pretty much have it word for word of what you were saying for quite some time in here. So, Lynn, I'm not gonna say it. You're Len, right? You're Len. What's up? How are you? We have FC Viper, or as some people call him, Feces Viper. These people are just mean. We have a Travis B74 in the house. We have Windblade. That seems like a new name, or maybe we've seen it before. I know I've seen the icon before. Todd C is here. We have Aaron the Toy Enhancer. He is triple dipping. Thank you very much. It'll be quadruple dipping when I stay the night for free at your house. And I have like the customary, bed and, but breakfast in bed. Can't wait for all that. We have Road Pig John here. Let's get into the G.I. Joe news. Well, you're going to be waiting a little while. As you know, G.I. Joe always comes at the end. But I got a lot of stuff to get into. We have Killer King. Yeah, like we collect war toys. We don't need to be war with each other. You know what? The Island Boys surrounded so much. Yeah. There's a lot to it. You don't have to like everyone. If you don't want to, listen. If you don't like a YouTuber, a toy tuber, whoever it is, you can just pass them by. It's when you continue to steal stuff from other people, and it's not just one person. It shows who you are. You could easily could have just given credit like so many other places do. Do your news burst, throw your stuff out there. I've said it before. You do wonderful created content because that is what your profession is. It still doesn't change the fact of the type of person you are. And again, no one in Canada has ever seen you show up anywhere. So anyway, Turkish Murphy is here. And then we have 44D2. Did you spill the soda yet? Put it over here. I'm going for never spilling the pop again. We're going to try and have no more Aldi Cola debacle this year. Yeah, Oh, I hit mute. Man, you guys need to let me know quicker, or maybe I just need to read. Again, the joints are just loose. So anyway, there have been more than a few people that have commented, said they had the exact same issue. And it sucks because they're really marvelous figures. Really, other than that, I don't like the way their swords go in. They pop out. It is hard to put them in. You'll fight with it for quite some time. Getting in poses. Again, I don't get that angry over stuff like I did at the end, but Snow Wolf, woo, thought I was deaf for a moment. No, you were not. All right. Yeah, a punk will not be silenced. No, I will not. And Loki Wartooth. So before I get into other things, I just want to once again mention, thank you to all the people that I get to double dip on. We've discussed how much, sometimes my bed is uncomfortable to actually sleep in because of all the gold coins that it is lined with. But when I do have the tears thinking about how I have a pinch in my back, I wipe my eyes with the $100 bills that I send to the Kleenex factory to have crammed into a Kleenex box. So that is how I blow my nose and stuff like that. Aaron sends another $5 super chat. $1 for rollover custom figs. After you finish Crow's vid, you'll want one. All right. Thank you very much. All right, so we're gonna get into a few things. 87 people here. Well, 81 on YouTube. The other ones are ex people that I don't think really exist. Killer King says, when you stay at the Toy Enhancer's house, does that include another double dip with free kit bashing sessions too? Oh, I'm going through that guy's stuff, and I'm going to collect everything that I need to complete my my O-ring collection. I was gonna say he may not know it, but he clearly knows it now. And Wraith Mace has donated a membership, and Thanos Copter got it, who oddly enough hasn't even said hi, or at least I haven't seen it. But Thanos Copter is watching, and that is great because Thanos Copter is the one guy who is truly trying to get Wood Bunny either on here or get me over there to, well, let's just say videos with Wood Bunny would not be appropriate for YouTube. That would get me demonetized forever. And Shark Eyes has joined. Anyway, so let's get into this quickly. So I finally got the show done today. I actually had to leave out the Star Wars stuff because I just didn't have enough time to do it, which is odd because considering all the Star Wars stuff that we're trying to do. So Saturday night, I did a live read on Jay Bartlett's channel of The Empire Strikes Back, where I played an impeccable C-3PO and Boba Fett, an Emperor, and Man's Voice. I know that's hard to believe, Man's Voice, especially with this voice. I mean, you get Man's Voice. How do you not ask Bobby B to just do that one line? Along with being Rican, I did the show with Alice and Troy, and it's Chad. Obviously, Jay was on it. The guy that has produced, I believe, and written stuff. He teaches film classes or teaches acting. Real nice guy. I've met him before. Jordan, along with a couple of other friends, and we had a blast. So right after it got done, it was over 3.5 hours of a read, and I jumped over on the Clubhouse for the Toy Elite Takeover, and I decided to simulcast, and Action Figs was doing it. And within 2 minutes of it, Corey from Make, Shape, and Create, and this is no fault of his own, he did nothing wrong. He just happened to be showing a prop of a Mandalorian blaster that he had created out of wood. He used a drill bit for, you know, extra added stuff on the side. It looked really good. It looked like the Mandalorian blaster. I walked downstairs to let Roman out, and I get an email that it has been removed because of I infringed on the no guns or something like that. And I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I thought they were actually talking about when Brooke had shown the Mandalorian rifle, a toy rifle. But then I finally saw it, and I was like, what the hell? So I put a dispute in, which probably went right to the same AI, and it came back a couple hours later saying, nope, we still do this. So last night when I was setting up my Thursday with a friend, which is going to be with Matthew Matson, because the original guest was not able to do it. So we'll actually be doing 3 Thursday with a friend in a row. I don't want to jinx this other one. I don't want to jinx the next one. He said he can do it, and he had some conflicting schedules with graduation, so fully understandable. Well, I'm trying to make it, and it won't let me upload, and it says that I can't. And sure enough, here I am. I'm trying to figure this out, and then I go to it, and it tells me that I can't do live streams. So I went on with probably what their AI was, and it doesn't tell me if it's a 24-hour ban. Didn't even tell me anything, to be honest. It actually told me that that the content was removed, but it does not garner a copyright strike. Which I'm like, good, because I didn't do anything wrong, and I didn't really bother to. Like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. But I talked a little while ago about how my monetization was different for some odd reason, and I couldn't figure out why. Because what they said, I said, well, when they pointed to what time, it was numbers, if I remember, or initials or something. So I don't know what they heard. Anyway, I went on there, disputed it, because I didn't know what was going on. So then I went on, and I'm talking with Matthew, and I'm trying to figure out, well, I need a backup plan. The asshole that we've already spoken of today, he nerfed my, my Instagram account, which was gone for, 3 months, which, again, it's amazing that you can find someone's Instagram when you have them blocked. Whew, man, who's petty? Anyway, I never really decided to set up a backup. Now, we have Punks on Film, but YouTube is very, they tell you are not to do other lives on YouTube using other channels. It violates, their protocol. So I spent all this time setting something on Rumble, or at least trying to. Not that easy. I can't get myself to go live. Like, you can't see my video. You can hear my voice. That was a lot of fun. So I will be working on that as a backup. So if you are using Rumble, or even if you're not, I ask, hey, you know what? Create an account just in case if something ever happens here. Because you cannot just talk to somebody in this day and age with these social media sites. Like, they, it's like any other company. So if someone puts a strike in against you, you don't really have any course of action. It was much easier here than for Instagram, but Instagram's a pretty big fuck you. I can honestly say a big fuck you. That was his name, Krusty O'Crow. We can invite Toy Crustacean back to watch over the chat. He did great last time. Yes, Toy Crustacean. That was his name. So, hey, he's more than welcome. But he has to come in as Toy Crustacean from the Viper Island, because that's clearly who it is. Tom says, I didn't even know you were saying you were flagged right then when we were all streaming together. Thought you were talking about it happened in a different stream. Well, it didn't say. All it said was it was removed. But clearly they put some sort of strike, even though in the email it said it was not a strike. So I got it all taken care of, but I will be working on Rumble. I will be uploading all my videos to Rumble and to here. I might as well, right? It's easy enough to do. Their monetization seems to be better when it comes to you get monetized right away. So anyone that's doing content, you might as well start throwing up your content over there too. Create an account. Just you don't have to do lives. Just do regular monetization or regular videos, and you can get monetized. And it looks like you can cash out once you hit a certain threshold. So, but that was the whole debacle yesterday. That was the whole reason why I went on and I did that impromptu live stream. I just needed to bitch about it. Yes, Loki, I have a chapstick issue. My ex once bought me for Christmas like a 12-pack of it. But yeah, and at this point, Matthew and I have talked about it. It is election season, and what we're going to start to see is once they hit you, so they have the AIs or whatever, however they monitor it. It's not a real person. We know that. They're watching your channel. They're watching what you say, and so you have to do what you have to kind of watch what you do. So I probably will not be simulcasting anymore, which really sucks because it really did help bring a lot to the clubhouse. But I've worked way too damn hard on this channel and this brand to chance it because Corey is showing off something that he created, make, shape, and create. And sure enough, there you go. It's like, YouTube just, I don't know. Anyway, so that's it. Other than that, the weekend was fun. The live read for The Empire Strikes Back was so much fun. I would love to do something like this on this channel, but I don't think that I could go through and put it together like Jordan did for Jay. But I think that's what he actually does for his actual job. Roman, stop. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear the licking, but it is so annoying. Yeah, Rumble is great, and it is great for backups, and it's free. So that's the biggest thing. One of the biggest things that I've talked about Patreon. I have no issue with people doing Patreon. I don't think that I give enough to you that I don't think I give enough that isn't already on YouTube to justify a Patreon. Also, I don't believe that you can do lives there, which defeats the whole purpose of having this. So, greetings, y'all. Glad you'll be able to stream, Lawrence. Don't let the bastards get to you. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of looking forward to having a. Oh, hey, look, Savage Crucible just fell over. Set him back up. Should count how many times he falls over. But yeah, so Viper Scout, they're actually talking about doing that. They've already done that once. Jay Bartlett did that once, and he's talking about doing it again. And for me, I would rather do the Transformer movie. As much as I like G.I. Joe more than Transformers movie is way, way better. Let It Go. No, I don't like letting things go. I don't like letting things go. That's way too easy in life. So, anyway, other than that, I had a pretty good weekend. We finished filming the one episode. So we have 2 episodes that we have completely filmed and haven't even done a 3rd or 4th for the Toy Store show. And we're gonna do it. Now we have to start working on. Now we have to start actually getting microphones and stuff for my son's camera. So we've already looked at what he was already using for his school stuff. And then that's where the fun begins because, yeah, a lot of costs are going to start coming out. But hey, if it works out and it does what it's supposed to, I will be super, super happy with it. So I kind of mentioned what I already got. I got the Savage Crucible, which the paint, the sculpt, the articulation is awesome. The feet are awful. I know Matthew already sent me a picture that, he got his standing. I spent way too long trying to get them on the Lazy Susan so I could do the end shots of it, and I could not get him to stay in multiple positions. He falls over way, way too easy. And it is a huge disappointment because, in all honesty, I was more hyped on these because I think the price is really good. The articulation, the sculpt, the paint is awesome. It's on par with Mythic Legions. It is really a crossover between the Mythic Legions and an AWOC. I think when I look at the armor and stuff, I really see AWOC in it. When I see the paint, it is, it's Mythic Legions. But if you can't get figures in really good standing poses, not a lot of fun, in my opinion. Not a lot of fun. So there's that. I have nothing coming in. I should be. My buddy, I would hope, would be getting the next gridiron part for the vamp, so I should hopefully get that by next week. I have some other stuff that I have to review. A lot of gridiron stuff. I think Greg owns half of gridiron, so between him and Foxtrot, who, if you're watching Foxtrot, you buy a lot of stuff from Gridiron. Yeah, I only ordered the one figure. I only ordered the one conclusive, which is the Imperial Sentry. Again, there's not enough funds. All jokes aside, of all the money I have, there's not enough funds for what I would love to get, especially with Hasbro and G.I. Joe basically saying, hey, we need your money. And I go, hey, you can have my money. And then they go, you see this? And I go, oh, you can have my money. And when Monster Force comes, well, yeah. So anyway, I did mention Thursday with a Friend is going to be Matthew Matson. He kind of was always the backup. I was actually going to see about someone else. I was talking to Matthew after our Thursday show, and he was like, hey, I can do it. So it's going to go on at 9:30 rather than 9, so he has enough time to get home, see his kid. His kid is still at that age that she wants to spend time with him, so might as well enjoy it as long as you can. So Matthew's going to be next week, so we're going to have 3 in a row. And I'm excited for them all because, again, I don't ask to have people on that I don't think are that good. So, all right, let's get to May the Power of the Force. As you saw, if you were at the beginning, Krusty Old Crow, he did that video for me. I didn't ask for that. It was something else that he did. And I'm going to have to read it soon because it is so awesome. But I got to say this. The first week of May the Power of the Force, it has not let me down. It is doing exactly what I wanted, and that was just to bring the community together, to have fun, and from what Kenzo did, which I think is very funny. I do think is very funny, to Blue Milk, to the suit that Wraith put on, to all the Yodas that that Cobb did. You guys are doing a marvelous job. And I think there are people that don't have them done that are going to try and up their game. I'm not saying one up someone, but up their game. It's a lot of fun. So, and that video got sent over to me. So quickly here, I'm going to present this as we kind of discuss what's going on and who's going on. So, the 8th, someone didn't put days down. When's the 8th? The 8th is Wednesday. So who is tomorrow? Tomorrow is tomorrow should be Travis Fitzgerald. Mr. Wonderful, right? Is tomorrow. Oh no! It is Aaron the Toy Enhancer. I'm trying to think of who goes live on Tuesday. So the Toy Enhancer, who I'm sure will probably be in some sort of cosplay because he still thinks he's a child. He's dressing up and stuff. I'm scared to wake up and see him like cosplayed over me, like handing me like fucking breakfast and shit. So anyway, starting Wednesday, we have Thanos Copter doing Jabba's prisoner Leia, or as we all call her, Slave Girl Leia. Same Time Toys is doing Boba Fett and IG-88s, a 2-pack. Hyperdelic, who has had his video done for like 5 months. Lando Calrissian. Payne's Toy Sample, who has been, he's been dropping little pictures and stuff. He will be doing the Bulmar Monk. Master Versal Toy Hunter will be doing Admiral Akbar. Vine Jungle Figure Factory will be doing a Wampa. And Mr. Wonderful, on his Tuesday before his stream, will be dropping Darth Vader. So I will have this up on the Facebook page. Allison, the Retro Toy Princess, she already has it up. So if you are interested, you want to know who's going to go next. I've been trying to drop the stuff. I've been so busy and shit just went haywire on me. So I did not, I have not dropped it like I had planned. I have all these big plans on stuff and I just don't get around to it. Sunny Sundries, hello guys, how are you? I love seeing Sunnies. I love seeing the guys from another country, and I'm not talking about Canada, because Canada is really just our 51st state. If I had my way, I would get rid of Ohio and you could be our 50th state. I think it would work awesome. It would work great for me, at least. So before we get into the news, I want to take a look at something, and I just want to see if I can find it. And so I want to say to Krusty Old Crow. So this started with him sending me something. You must have sent it to me on Instagram. I think if you sent it to me on Instagram, let me see if I can find it. And I will actually read it if I can. Now, understand this. Okay, so I found it. So, Krusty, understand this. You sent this to me and you're like, you're a Detroit guy. I only know Eminem because I'm pretty much from Detroit. I mean, I would know who he is. I only know his music because I'm from here. Again, when I say I'm a punk with toys, I mean I am a punk with toys. I don't really listen to a lot of other music. I like 80s music. I like sports. I like some older rap stuff. Newer stuff I don't really know. But I do know this because it's Eminem. So he sends this to me, and he just says, I want you to read this following message in the tune of Stan by Eminem. Okay? So I'm not going to be able to read it like that, I don't believe. But you'll hear it as it goes along. I hope you don't mind, Krusty, that I'm going to read this. I say hi to Rachel here. I take Mexico over Canada. Mexico's got better food than half their people already. We have the snow Mexicans up there, and then we have the real Mexicans below us. All right. So this is what I alluded to originally, that I thought he was going to drop in. I really didn't expect him to do a whole another rap up. Okay. So this is to the tune of Stan from Eminem, which I do know the song, all right? And it's when he's reading what it's when he's reading the letter that he gets. Dear Punk, I hit you on Insta and you kept on scrolling. I left my channel, my email, and credit card info at the bottom. Comment on the other vids, and I know you got them. There's probably dead batteries in the mouse again or something. Sometimes I do figure reviews and just drop them. But anyways, fuck it. What's up, man? How's Roman? Can I get on that Power of the Force thing you and Allison are rolling? I found a fig. Guess which one? It's C-3PO. I'm doing that because it rhymes with Krusty Old Crow. And I hate Protocol Droids. I don't want him. But I know you hear this every day. I'm your biggest fan, and I hope someday to be on Thursday with a friend. I watched the lives and tried to stay to the end. I like that one you did with JLS too. That was fat. Anyways, I hope this gets to you. Hit me back. I'm in the chat. Mr. Rich, YouTube man. The fact that he not only went through all of that, then he created this other song, which is going to live on here. So believe me, there are times when I take a potty break when I don't have a grumbly rumbly that I have to take care of. You're going to hear that song again. Thank you, Crow. You, Aaron, and 3-Star Draw are knocking it out of the park. Elite Legend and I had a is it Elite Legend? No, Elite. No, Elite Legend is someone else. Sorry. Legends. I'm sorry. we had a nice talk today. And you guys are doing a great job. I mean, all of you guys are. Again, just putting out the content that you guys are. You're making this community great. I mean, it's really what it's supposed to be about. There's too much drama and bullshit. And yes, you're right. I started off with a lot of the drama and the bullshit. And I wish that's the type of stuff that we could get rid of. And I don't think we're ever going to get rid of it because that's life. My biggest problem is that I say what's on my mind when it comes to something. And sometimes that can burn people and it upsets people. And that's why a lot of people don't want to have me on other bigger channels because they don't know what I'm going to say. Since I was on with Mega J and I, kind of voiced my opinion about Ace from Ramen, he has constantly been showing stuff off that he's doing. He's even talked about it because he was in the chat. And yeah, it's just one of those things. JR with the super sticker, $2. Thank you very much. I only know it's a super sticker because I have to look over here. It's funny how Streamer doesn't tell you certain things. But yes, all of you guys are doing a great job. And I have to say this. From the content that I put out to what Tony, KJ, A Toy Kind of Mood is putting out, to the three of you guys, to Payne, and what Aaron and Travis are putting out, to the Clubhouse, it's all different content. And that's what makes it awesome. There's not a bunch of cookie cutter content that people are doing in this circle that we have created. So I just really do want to say, you guys are doing a wonderful job. And again, we're all better for it because everyone is doing their thing. All right. So enough of that. I'm going to take a drink before I spill my pop. Bobby Wold. Bobby Wold says, "Wait, so did you get back to Crow? Because I know how that song ends." Bobby, I'm not sure why you're here. I don't have anything for you to win. Don't you just go to Aaron's channel and he sends you stuff because everything is... Thank you for joining, Bobby. I'm glad you do. And here is Lone Dragon Super Sticker. Diaper Island said, taking money from viewers is gross. Well, you can put two and two together. Who was messaging me about what he was saying. Again, I normally don't watch it. It was a... yeah. Yes, Loki, here he comes. Look at this. Loki Wartooth. Bobby is a ringer. Oh, yes, we all know it. Bobby, no, he's not mad at me. Bobby probably typed that like 10 minutes ago because his internet is so fast. If you guys don't know, Aaron does these giveaways, right? And he'll ask questions. And Bobby Wold is always before everybody. Even though it's not just me. All right. So this isn't sour. This isn't sour grapes. It isn't just me going, no, I can see that mine is first. Tony has said the same thing along with numerous other people. But Bobby, who has the Bobby's sitting here like, hey, look at this. I have the answer key here. He's just like, he's got it typed in there. And everyone's like, well, why did Bobby just type Crimson Guard? 10 minutes later, oh, that's the answer. Aaron's like, oh, look at this. Bobby answered it 10 minutes ago. Yeah, but you just asked it 30 seconds ago. It's crazy. I don't know. All right. Let's get into the news. I do want to say this quickly. Thank you. 50 of you showed up last night for my impromptu rant. I really didn't mean to. I just need to, you need to bitch, right? I want everyone to bitch at here or bitch to here. I'm sure Matthew didn't want me calling him back. So I did it here on YouTube. All right. Let's get into a little bit of the Masters of the Universe. And we got some packaging here, courtesy of Toy Habits. This is where I picked up all these pictures. Don't go anywhere. There's not that much Motu to talk about. There's lots of McFarlane to talk about. I know, go figure, right? So anyway, here is the Merman. This thing looks really awesome. I like the translucent. There's no doubt about it. It would be awesome if it was glow in the dark. But this, again, I'm pretty much out of Motu stuff here, out of the Motu universe. But this thing here, it is a nice looking figure. Just that translucent blue, what looks like purple maybe at his head, it really pops. And then he has his fork. So when he wants to eat like the sea creatures that Aquaman talks to, he can. And like my buddy's custom, he's all happy right now. He's all like, oh my god. He's all happy eating an edible right now. He's probably getting like twice as high as what he was just because he's seeing Motu on the screen. You got my attention for 3 more minutes, punk. Make it count. You are a true Motu guy, man. But yeah. Now, I do have to say here, when I'm looking at this, the tail is really cool, but I cannot not see just a mermaid. And I think a lot of it has to do with the teal and the purple. It looks way, way more feminine than what I would think merman is supposed to be. And it's okay, man. It's cool if you want to be feminine. I'm not criticizing you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect my life. I just think maybe I can understand why you can't do translucent because it'd be a softer. Oh, it doesn't have to be softer, but maybe if this color was more like this blue here. You are a clown 57. Yes, more snake merman and less Modoc. Oh, Modulok, sorry. Modulok. Sometimes you got to figure out what you're saying. And Joe has joined. Nice to see you guys. Don't assume his water gender. Not going there. All right. I'm not going there. So anyway, this shot here, it's just the colors. I think you can make a lot of different figures using this color pattern and this color scheme, and it would work. But all in all, it is a really good face sculpt. I've said before, the origin style figures that they're doing right now, they are making them look way better than a $18 figure, which is what they are at Target or Walmart, if you're actually able to find new ones there. And here you can see how everything breaks down. And all this is just the snake body with a tail, with a fish tail, a merman. tail. But all in all, I think this looks really good. Again, I don't say you couldn't be happy with it. So here's Merman, Turtles of Grayskull. The packaging is the reason why we're showing it. It's pretty dark, but this was the best picture that they had up on Toy Habits. So Road Pig John says, I like that Merman. I want the Hordak in that line. Yeah, like I said, they're doing some really, really good stuff. I saw a crap load of cranes at it was Walmart, I believe. I was actually shocked there was that many because I thought he was kind of hard to find. Oh, I don't know why I cover my mouth. There's no one else here. It's just course of habit. And again, you can't really see anything here. Unfortunately, I wish you could see more. But this is just the back artwork of it. So I think, again, I have no interest at all other than Steroid Shredder for this line. But I think it's really good. It is crazy. You can like something that you don't collect and just enjoy it. He likes some other mermens. He might. Anyway. That's why you need to listen to Jim Rome. I know exactly what you're talking about. If you listen to Jim Rome, you know exactly what he's talking about. There it was. All right, McFarlane toys. We've talked about McFarlane. We talk about it every week. Some of the stuff is great. Some is not so good. I think most of the stuff on this is pretty good. There are some really good. There's 1 2-pack that I think I'm gonna be getting for sure. So we'll start with the Music Maniacs, and here, if you're an Iron Maiden fan, here you go. I did see the other ones, and I thought they looked really, really good. Yes. I can confirm that. Yes, more Batman. There are more Batman coming in these slides. That is for sure. But what's kind of cool about this is, it's not based after anyone. So he does better when he's not creating certain sculpts or like face sculpts, because he can sometimes kill it, like just destroy it. He can kill it either way. Sometimes he kills it and sometimes he kills it. Oh, look who shows up. Fatrid. Love when Fatrid shows up. I still don't know why he has the FU at the back of his. Still waiting, trying to figure that out. Eddie. So I hear that, and I think of Eddie Guerrero. But I didn't know what you're talking about. So here's the packaging. Comes with this sword. He has a backpack. I think I actually cut that out. Rob Zombie, if you like Rob Zombie. I know a lot of people do. I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan. I think all his music sounds the same. Bad. I swear if I have to hear that Dragula song one more time. Oh, that was such a bad, awful song. But it's like a song you have to listen to because you hate it so much. It's almost like any Volbeat song that you've ever heard. It's so bad that you still have to listen to it. But anyway, the one thing that I did notice is that in the stands, and you know me and my feelings on stands, is that the stand actually has a microphone stand, which I think is actually pretty cool. So here you can see this is the microphone stand. Again, I like that idea. You would like Volbeat. So my old neighbor, she said, So my old neighbor, says a couple of you like Volbeat, once said that when I was talking about Volbeat, she said, it makes me want to punch babies. That's all I have to say on that. It makes her want to punch babies hearing Volbeat. And her husband at the time was a singer of a heavy metal band. It's a How to Master Versatile Toy Hunter, who will be doing his video soon. So anyway, there is Rob Zombie. I don't think this really looks that good, to be honest. Maybe because it's all in black and white or grays, different things like that. But you can tell it's Rob Zombie. But I just kind of want to show you it can stand there without a problem. Like I said, I do like that idea. I think it's, yeah, I like that idea. It's just that's a small detail that I say, good job. And that's it. So here you go. Not only a new Batman, but a new Batmobile, ears and all. I do not know what this Batmobile is from, although I do think that it is actually pretty cool looking. Allison says, if anything like his movies, the first 30 minutes of this action figure will be cool, and then it was. I don't think I've ever seen any of his movies. I'm not a horror guy, so it's not something that I would be sitting down to. Max just texted me to say if my phone started ringing, it was an accident. Oh, she did call. I think she did. Maybe it's a text. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what this Batmobile is. I think it looks pretty awesome. I think the Batman looks really awesome too. FC Viper says White Knight Comics. This is Batman. Batman drives a Blade Runner's spinner. That's a pretty good car. It looks like the Monsters movie. Yeah. So, White Knight Batman, Batmobile, which I have know nothing about. But I think this Batman looks really, really good. I think the Batmobile looks pretty interesting. The ears, I was listening to Robo, and he was talking about how, at first he couldn't not notice the ears, and then it just kind of blends all in. And even the original '89 Batmobile that had wings that were, somewhat similar to that. You are a clown, 57. Thank God a Batman figure. The drought is over. Oh, don't worry. There's about to be a waterfall. But yeah, this is, again, it's cool. I know a lot of people like to customize stuff like this and turn it into maybe a Cobra vehicle or a G.I. Joe vehicle. To me, it wouldn't work for that because it's not built as a military type style. Like, this is a stealth type thing. Even though it has guns and different things like that, you could probably, but maybe you could do it like a stealth, do some sort of stealth thing for the Crimson Twins, although there can only be one, which means you have to buy two of them. Right now, I just brought that up, and Aaron the Toy Enhancer is like, I got to go order some so I can customize them. But it does look awesome. Now, I'm not really sure why it has snow plows in the front here and guns in between the wheels. That seems like problematic. But hell, he's Batman, so I'm sure he won't have any issues with it there. So if you are interested, here you go. Another 1/12 scale vehicle to fill up the room that you're like, hey, I really wanted to have furniture in this room, but now I have 1/12 vehicles everywhere. War chest lets us know he's here. There's the back of it. He has his brake lights. I do think the back looks awesome. I think the back looks really, really awesome. Just this whole profile. It really does look like a muscle car. I don't know what that is. A muscle car. So, but the silver black, it all works. All right. You ever want your Batman to go into space? Here you go. I mean, not in the watchtower in space, like in just regular space, right? So here you have winged Batman. He has a glass dome. So not only can he go in space, but when he gets back, he can put the cookies, or he can put the dome over the cookies so they don't get stale, because you don't want stale cookies in Wayne Manor. Uh, I think it's cool that they're doing Batman 66. I know it started from from the show, and then it moves into the comics. I don't know anything about this. I don't need a Batman that can go into space, even if I was collecting it. But Nightwing, I actually think this figure looks really good. And Matthew, are you getting this for your wife? Because you said she loves everything Nightwing. And here is a classic 66 Nightwing. Not only can this guy fight crime, but he can go to any disco in Gotham and probably walk right in. And no one's even going to notice. But I actually think this figure looks good. I think that I know a lot of people think the articulation isn't all that good. Again, it's a McFarlane figure. And it's based on a 6-inch scale. It's really odd that he decided to do these on a 6-inch scale, but everything else is on this giant 7-inch scale. No, not this version. No Elvis Nightwing in our house. Oh, dude, you gotta have... Seriously. How can you not get this for your wife? I want to see this in a picture hanging out with like Cobra Commander or something. And then we have Bookworm, which is a very interesting looking figure. Now, this doesn't say Batman 66, so hold on. So was this from the actual movie? I don't remember. I don't remember how it's going, because there's Batman and Batman 66. Because some are from the comic that's been created. No, so there's a comic book that is based off of Batman, and that's what they've done. So I don't know if they've created if they're actually in the comics, but he's creating it in a style that fits with that. But no, Nightwing was not, because Dick Grayson was always Robin. I don't believe Burt Ward has ever even thought about putting on the Nightwing outfit. Though I don't know why he put on that other one. Okay, so Loki War 2 says, Alex from Clockwork Orange. No, there's someone that said, oh yeah, Same Time Toy says the Bookworm is from the TV show. So if it says Batman 66, that is from the comic book. If this is Batman, this is actually from the TV show. And so what they did with Batgirl is they put 66 on it because they couldn't get her likeness. So they used the likeness from the comic. And then we have Alfred, because you definitely need someone to dust your bat phone that no one could figure out what it was. But I gotta say, like, this is where I say, like, he nailed like certain face sculpts. Like, this looks really good. Have you seen Bird Ward? He couldn't put on this. Okay. You are correct. And he makes dog food now. Just so you know, he makes dog food now. And you know what? Him and his wife are very passionate about their dog food. And it sounds like it's supposed to be pretty good, but Blue Buffalo actually still ranks better and less expensive. So, but if you want Alfred, if you need a butler for anything, especially if you're 6-inch, here you go. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, Batman. Oh, I'm singing it in my head. If it's taking you a second to figure out, because it did take me a second, It's the Elvis song. Oh, I love you, Private Director. Jamie Garcia is showing up here, still waiting for McFarlane to release multiverse toys from the universe where everyone looks like they were drawn by Jose Garcia Lopez. Give it time. He probably won't do it like they're drawn. He'll just do the paint jobs. Then there's this thing. So I said a lot of the stuff looked good. I didn't say it all looked good. But if you want something glow in the dark, and I don't want anything glow in the dark this bad, you can have this Joker / Batman. It's an Amazon exclusive. I only know that because I heard Robo doing it. I need to just go back to this. Matter of fact, hold on. Hold on. Now sing it, guys. Please just sing it and think about the Elvis song, because oh my God, yes, that is truly awesome. That is truly awesome. Thor says, I think that creepy ass Joker robot looks beautiful. Hey man, if you like it, more power to you. I think I'm more classic when it comes to my Batman stuff, although I really liked Azrael's Batman and that whole suit. So here he is when you flip the head, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But this does glow in the dark. Suspicious Minds, thank you. Yes. I hope you guys were all singing it. Are they just putting random heads on? Are they just putting Joker heads on random bodies now? Kind of, but not. Because this is like Manny faces is what it is. So here's the glow in the dark, which you can't even tell it glows in the dark like the normal. But here you can see that it's Joker's head on the back of Batman, which is just weird. Yeah. I don't get it. But hey, if you like this, then get it and fucking enjoy your toy. Because you know what? No one can tell you what you should and shouldn't like and take that away from you. Because we're adults playing with toys. That's seriously. It's Joker rip-off Two-Face. And this just looks creepy. Just looking at it from the back, I don't want this in my house because I'd be scared that it would be facing backwards at one point and just creep the shit out of me. All right. Shazam! The Fury of the Gods was such an awesome movie that they had to make some figures. For the people that want this, I hope they make the rest of the team. I think it's awful if you aren't able to get the whole family. But I do have to say that I think that this, the head of the blue, the guy with the blue head, I don't know what his name is. The face sculpt looks pretty good. It looks like it's from the 70s, though. Maybe from a Fall Guy episode, a Chips episode, maybe the Dukes of Hazzard. So maybe early 80s. But I think it looks pretty good. But it looks like something directly from, our late 70s, early 80s that we would always watch. My daughter and I went and saw Shazam 2. I watched Shazam 2. I thought the first Shazam was actually pretty good. The second one was so bad that it was actually pretty damn good. But yeah, But hey, if you want these figures, I hope that he gives you the whole team. Because what's the use of having, two of the family members and not all of them? Now, I wouldn't want one that he's kind of burnt. I don't really remember him getting burnt or how like what he got burnt. I don't know. The movie was kind of all over the place. And you could tell like a lot of the actresses didn't really care to be in it, in my personal opinion, which is what you find from a lot of movies that when they don't want to be in anymore, the final acts start to be really bad. But yeah, Krusty says, I wish McFarlane would just do solid line of diorama sets and bases only, no figs. He's got a great thing going with those normally. Yeah, he does really nice, inexpensive dioramas. I thought the Wayne Manor that he did, along with the Bat Cave, were really, they were really. I mean, they were inexpensive and nice backdrops. So if you didn't want to create your own, like a lot of people don't, it's something that you could use with G.I. Joe and different things like that. So here you go. It is a multi-pack. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. This dropped today. So this is Tim Drake's Robin. I don't remember him in a black outfit like this. He has this awesome smirk. I think this head sculpt looks really cool. I know someone's going to say that's not how Tim Drake looked. I don't really remember him having a smirk like this, but I think that the face sculpt is really, really good. Just because of like how it's done. So if you are interested in this, again, I think this is actually pretty good. Yeah, I don't remember Tim Drake wearing the outfit. I'm not saying he didn't. And even if he didn't, I think it's a good looking outfit. Let's be honest. The red, yellow, and green for Robin is pretty lame. Although I think the first Tim Drake Robin comics, again, that I remember reading it. I don't remember anything about it. That's still my favorite Robin. I think Tim Drake was absolutely awesome. And the one thing I've always said about the Batman and with the different Robins is they've always done a wonderful job of making them different people. Hence the reason why everyone hated Jason Todd so much they had to kill him off, because he was a completely different character. And they never tried to make another Dick Grayson, which is awesome because other than Batman, I think Dick Grayson is one of the best characters, just in general. Living in the shadows of Batman, but not always agreeing with everything. And I've always said there's really only two people that should be Batman, not including Terry McGinnis, because that is in the future. And that is, if Bruce Wayne ever stepped down, it should be Dick Grayson. All right, anyway. Now on to this thing. This is what I was alluding to a little bit earlier. This is awesome. I was kind of upset I missed out on this Batman. Someone had made the comment that, hey, don't worry, they're going to do a 2-pack with Bane. I think this looks awesome. Bane is huge the way that he's supposed to be from Nightfall. You can obviously see he has Venom, just kind of pumping through him. Says that's what Tim wears, just a blue oyster. Derek Holloman shows up. We need Jason Todd Robin. We already have Tim Drake. Don't worry. You guys will ask, and then all of a sudden he'll pump out like 10 in a row, and you'll be like, all right, stop. But this Bane looks awesome. He does look like he is much bigger than Batman, which is awesome too. But this picture is doing it justice. So here's the side where Batman is fighting Bane. He's looking at him. On this side here, you have Bane looking at Batman. Now, in this shot, you might not be able to see it here. His on his thighs, his bat suit is ripped. If you look at his mouth, he's bleeding from his mouth. And if you remember Nightfall, Bane was he wasn't dumb. He was extremely smart. He had figured out who Batman was a long time ago. and he just kept sending villain after villain after villain to wear him down. And even though he had this venom, he wanted him to be as easy as he could. He wanted him to be as easy to take as he could, and he pretty much dismantled Batman. Matthew, I remember when those came out, and I thought they looked awesome too. But these are going to be much cheaper. Don't get me wrong. I also know that they're going to be much cheaper in what they are, but I think I'm fine with having this in my collection for what I collect. And you can only do so many you can only do so many good shots with McFarlane. I think we all know that. They get in specific action poses, and you can tell Bane only articulates so much. But I think this looks awesome, and it's going to be probably a $60 to maybe $70 2-pack. So, Bane is smart. Movie producers are. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The original, when they first did Bane, they made him like an idiot. The second one, they kind of made, they made him smart, but he wasn't, he was still like working for someone else. That's not how Bane was presented originally, from what I remember. I mean, again, he had made it so Batman was just fighting villain after villain after villain. So, all right. A lot of Neca news. A lot of stuff we normally wouldn't cover, but I just think Neca does some really good stuff, so we're going to talk about it. All right. So let's start with Chucky. I know this will interest a lot of people. Bloody variant. I don't know. Bloody variant. I thought Valaverse had the corner of the market on bloody variants, because every variant just can be a bloody variant, it seems, when it comes to his stuff. He thinks everyone wants to be, like they just menstruated all over each other. But this Chucky here is actually pretty cool. He's all bloody, and you'll see in the accessories, there's not too much you can do. I mean, something is this bloody. How do you make it not look bloody? And I think they did a pretty good job. Still waiting for a definitive blue and gray classic Batman. It's like everyone that's come out just a little off. Well, again, if you're waiting for McFarlane, good luck. So I know nothing about this Chucky. I'm assuming this is from like Chucky 83, 84 maybe. Ed says his knife is perfectly clean though. Hold on. Well, hey, it's easy to clean off a blade. All right. Maybe he just went and cleaned it off. I mean, the chainsaw is clean too. But here you can see like, he's all clean. So what they actually did here, and you'll see in a second, in this hair, he has some really good hair. And the first Child's Play was a really good movie for what it was. Then they just really went off the rails. So here you can see this is before he obviously goes on a murderous spree. Now, the pants are still bloodied up, but it's something that kind of gets lost in it, because now you're looking at the ho-ho-ho sweater. He has a different head sculpt that doesn't have it, along with a non-bloody Santa cap here. And then you can see, boom, he throws this on it. But Ed, I didn't really realize, you said that, the chainsaw doesn't have any blood on it, nor does the knife, which kind of does take away from it. I think you should have some blood there. But here's everything that you get. And again, I think it's a pretty nice little set, even if you just wanted to get stuff for the accessories. Now, the thing about Neca is they do not come down in price. We're going to take a real quick break because my daughter's calling me for some reason, and she should not be. So hold on here and listen.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over his stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch my cell for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Moss Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box. I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe. And then in the comments, put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye!
All right, so I'm back. My daughter had to ask a question about a gymnastics place. I don't know why. She knows that I'm live. She's like, oh, I didn't forget. I forgot, but that's okay. I always like hearing my daughter call me. Anyway, Chaz, quickly, yes, I talked about it at the beginning, and because after someone had kind of told me what he was talking about, and I went and watched the beginning of his video, I realized he was the guy that was in here trolling a couple weeks ago, because you can't say certain things that are almost identical to what the Toy Crustacean was saying. So, Toy Crustacean, living on the Viper Island, go figure, right? Anyway, and no, I wasn't taking the kids to the pool. Anyway, back to this thing here. What is awesome about a lot of the Neca stuff is their accessories are really, really good. The problem is Neca never goes on sale. And if it does, it's so rare. The only thing that I can remember ever being on sale for Neca was some of the Back to the Future stuff. But when you look at this here, you got a chainsaw, you got a knife, you got some bloody glasses, some regular glasses. Looks like there's some cookies, mugs. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff. Neca always is giving awesome, awesome accessories. So if you like a Chucky, if you like your horror, maybe you wanted this, how you want to spruce up your Christmas, you also have some cool accessories that can go with it. So that is Chucky. And I just saw this today, and even though, again, more horror, welcome to Camp Crystal Lake. This thing can work with any, 1/12 figure or 1/12 figure line. You don't have to have them in Friday the 13th, but you do have Camp Crystal Lake. Again, creepiest lake ever. Can't believe people still send their kids there. Yeah, Loki says the accessories are great. I try to get in lots. Oh, I'm assuming maybe on eBay. I never really thought to look like that. Go on there and start scrolling through and see who's piling Neca stuff together. Some of the Walmarts that are doing resets right now have Necas on sale right now, but not all Walmarts or all Necas. No, I didn't think about that. I actually, when I go to Walmart, which is I barely go toy hunting anymore. I almost don't even go to I don't. Ed, I like a whore for Christmas, Larry. Thank you. I don't even go to the Walmart like collector section because it's so crappy. It's so crappy. Anyway, I just think this is really cool. They did a great job. Like I've been saying before, like every time I buy a Neca figure, I'm looking. I'm like, why don't you do some of these displays that you're showing us in the back? I don't know when you think we're going toy hunting. I'm probably going to be getting in late, I guess, if you want to wake up in that morning. I don't think we can get into Joe Fest till like 6 o'clock, so I guess we have time before we get there. I'll find out more about that in a couple weeks, but yeah, yeah. We can go do toy hunting. You want to do toy hunting videos? Yeah, we can do it. Again, we're going to have lots of time after I eat breakfast. All right. Everything's out of order, so don't think too much about the order. Here's the back of the box, but here's everything that it comes with. Now, you'll see a picture soon. You have the rock with the chain, and you'll see how it goes. And again, I just think this is actually really, really cool. Daredevil Dave says, my Walmart has all the newer class. Yeah, they got hammered with a lot of the retro cards. I saw a lot of stuff there. Waffle House for breakfast. So then we're coming back to your house so I can blow up your bathroom because I ain't going to make it all the way to Joe Fest, all the way to Augusta from Atlanta if I go to Waffle House. I can tell you that much. Hold on, wait. Stanley says, was watching the Chad podcast Sunday evening to get Ryan Laserpants take on Viper Island. They had a great idea to wear diapers and a VI troll shirt to Joe Fest. But he doesn't go. That's the thing. Like, he doesn't go. Like, he doesn't have the guts to go anywhere. That's the biggest thing. Anyway. So here, again, this is really cool. This is where you can use a flight stand, or this would be a water stand, I guess. But I look at this and I'm like, okay, right now I'm looking at this going, oh, I need to figure out how to do that for all my torpedoes and divers that I have, and the other divers that will be coming along with the eels and stuff like that. We need a Waffle House playset. Yeah, we don't have Waffle Houses here, and I'm perfectly fine without having Waffle Houses. Maybe the most overrated place ever. The old owner of our company once made my boss and I go down to Waffle House because he said it's close to where we were at. It wasn't, because it was literally in Ohio, and we were like 45 minutes outside of Ohio. But he made us drive an hour and bring back the receipt that we went to Waffle House to get cheese eggs. You know how many places we passed that have cheese eggs? Oh, yeah, we have IHOPs. Yeah, we have IHOPs. Anyway, so again, awesome. I would love for Neca to continue to do stuff like this as long as it's affordable. Yes, we have Denny's too. Do you want to go to all the restaurants we have? Denny's was a staple after every concert to go to because it was 24/7. But here you go. Here's your sign, Allison. Enjoy it. Go get it. Larry's rolling in that YouTube money and can afford to like IHOP better. Yeah. Yes. Tim Hortons, we've discussed this before. Tim Hortons has ice caps. If you've never had an ice cap, I don't drink coffee, but I drink ice caps. Not as much. I've kind of gotten away from it. Not for anything better. I just haven't been drinking them. A matter of fact, there's a Tim Hortons, I believe, in Dubai, which was actually, I was watching something in Dubai, and they were going to the mall, and there was a Tim Hortons, and I was like, oh, look at that. By the way, Tim Hortons should also be changed to Nick Lidstrom because he is the greatest defenseman of all time. Anyway, another elf. Now, you know my feelings on the elf figure who still sits there with a shotgun because he came to eat cats and kick ass, and he's all out of cats. But they're just reusing the buck. You got to change something on it. And I don't like this one as much as the one that I got and the San Diego Comic-Con one, which I did not get. I mean, I like the idea of the guitar and stuff. I actually did a shoot of him and the Plunderlings singing, but Sergei Fedorov was not a defenseman other than for like 60 games when Scotty Bowman put him on defense. Or else he probably would have been the greatest defenseman of all time. But if you don't have the other elf and maybe you like this elf better, you like a jean jacket, there you go. The figure itself is an absolute awesome figure. And again, the accessories that Neca gives you, they're so good that you can't really complain about them at all. And they give you a good amount of accessories, whether it be the gargoyles, elf here, all the stuff that came with not the Walking Dead, the Evil Dead figures that I got. And they do fit with 6-inch figures, even though these are built on a 7-inch scale. And I did not say hi to Pop Blender here. Lidstrom was no Bork. Yeah, you're just look. You said that so quickly because you couldn't even keep a straight face. All right, Ray Bork, who really went chasing a Stanley Cup. Not taking anything away from Ray Bork, but they call Nicholas Lidstrom the perfect man for a reason, because he really was. But let's say now, but again, if you want to create a band, whether it be Elf or others, you're going to get a bunch of things to start creating a band. So if you waited on Elf and you're like, hey, I need a different one, there you go. And you have a jean jacket. Who doesn't need a jean jacket? And an Elf record. Am I saying it right? Elf. Joe says, I just got the Neca D&D figures and they're great. They look awesome. It's just not I'm not a D&D fan, but I look at them, and John from Sergeant Reds is always like, hey, you should review this. He always wants me to review stuff because he wants me to buy stuff. I'm like, but I don't want to. And Allison comes in with, speaking of gargoyles, my ex's mom is doing some modeling for local art classes for their sculpture lessons. Wow. See, that's just wrong. Clint, I mean, I can't even say it. I can't even say I'm biased. Nicholas Lidstrom is probably, I say he's the best. He's the best defenseman of our era. If people want to say that Bobby Orr was better, I'm going to disagree. But you can't argue Bobby Orr's success. And if you said Nicholas Lidstrom is the second best defenseman ever, then I don't think that's really a shot at how great he was. But Ray Bork, I mean, no, not even close. Not even close. Again, that's a whole. I don't want people to tune away because we're talking, sports ball. Actually, this would be sports puck. Anyway, here's all the stuff that Elf comes with: microphone, headband. And the shirts, I mean, all this is cloth goods, so it's going to come off. And these things run like $38 to $40. Usually at a toy store, like a local toy store, they're going to be $40. At Target or Best Buy, they're going to be 38 or even less there. So they're not a bad price, especially considering. I mean, these are supposed to be, in my opinion, comparable to Super 7. Oh, I got to talk about that. Super 7 Ultimates, which it's not even close. And Ed, this is for you, my friend, my moderator. Planet of the Apes figures. I know that you are a big fan of Planet of the Apes. I have heard you discuss it with Travis numerous times. Mr. Wonderful. There's so many Travises. Well, there's not so many. There's two main Travises. And then there's Travis B, the only non-whining Travis that we know. Actually, we don't really know that. He just says he's not. But so far, he hasn't whined. So we're going to say he's the non-whining Travis. So if you were like, hey, I need some classic Planet of the Apes figures, Neca was like, hey, we got that for you. But they look good. I mean, they look good. And I'm going to say you could probably fit these in with your AWOC figures. Here's Ed like, yeah, oh yeah, these look really good. So here we go again here. These look pretty cool. Someone is messaging me. I'm assuming it's probably Travis just because. But here. And I kind of remember the picture. Ed, maybe you could fill me in one day here. War chest full of toys. For real, though, that was the Joel Schumacher thing, you know. Oh. I'm going to let you guys read that because I got lost in my words. I read C-3PO. I don't know how I made it the whole time. Here he has a rolling pin. Is this a rolling pin or is he getting dog hair off him? Is it one of those? I don't know what that is. So, there you go. Again, all this looks really good. NECA, their newer figures are pretty good. I still don't think they use the greatest plastic. They don't have the greatest articulation still. But what you're getting, the way they look, and I don't have a picture of all the accessories, but you got a paper airplane. I mean, that's going to be pretty cool for someone that needs a paper airplane. Maybe you can use that for the G.I. Joes, you know, one of the idiot G.I. Joes that would be showing how they're going to fly in with the Sky Striker and attack a his tank. So, all right. And it might be the last picture here. Oh, here we are. So here's the box. So when it's the non-door package, these are a little bit cheaper. So the what was it that I got? Assassin's Creed figure. They're a little bit cheaper because they're just a windowed, which I think is fine. I think a lot of people are perfectly fine when they're just like, hey, you know, it's a sacred scroll. Are you sure it's not? I thought it was one of those lint collectors. That's a $5 airplane at least in a while. All right. Yes, it was Bazooka that I was thinking. If you're referring to that, I was actually thinking that's something Bazooka would do, at least in the cartoon. So here's all the figures with the Lint Collector. Supposedly it's a Sacred Scroll. I don't know if I believe that. Wow, that's the exact same thing that Ed said. But this is just first four, so you know they have to leave you wanting more, right? All right. Quickly, I want to discuss something before we get into this. Let me move this here. So I brought up Super 7. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, there was a report that talked about how Brian Flynn has been removed as being the head product, not developer, but the guy that pushes out what toys are going to be done, right? because of the loan that he took out. And the person in it said, hey, you're going to start saying double jointed knees and elbows on the turtles, yada, 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 went on. And then Brian Flynn came out. Well, Chad did a whole video on it. I had discussed it. Now I just discussed what was happening or what was reported. I watched Chad's video. All Chad really did was, again, I said I didn't like how Chad did his thumbnail because it was really making, a clown. And again, I already think that Brian Flynn can be a clown as it is. But everything that he said was all stuff that was in there. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You were running with something that was discussed, and a guy that, he said who he was per se as his name and other things that he got right. Well, Brian Flynn came out and he, basically disputed all that. And there's people that just want to destroy him. And well, on Veeves' show, Veeves is one of the guys that used to be part of the Foosh. Brian Flynn was on there and he discussed the new turtles. Okay. Well, so Chad here, he said, I even changed that thumbnail. Oh, I just remember when it came out. And like I said, I had no issue with the content you put out there because I thought everything that you talked about was already, it was there. It was written. It was put out there. You weren't reporting it as gospel. You were saying, hey, this was out there. Well, I watched the Veeves interview, which was, I've seen more competitive softball games than what they throw at him. But again, that's what you're going to get. But I did find it interesting that he talked about that the new turtles that are part of a different turtle line will now have double jointed knees and elbows. Now, Brian stands steadfast that he doesn't that he still doesn't like it. But when they went back and they looked at it, they said, well, kids that were growing up that were getting into turtles at that age, this is what they had. So we still want to give them like what they had. I still find that to be BS because, well, if you think about it, G.I. Joe always had they didn't have double joints. I guess that's right. But they still had more articulation. The O-ring still had more articulation with the Ultimate Scale, right? So I don't really buy that. I really do believe that the people that, if someone invests that much money into your company and they're not getting an investment back, they're not seeing it, they're going to ask for changes. So either way, he's still the face of it. Maybe everything in that article wasn't true, but at that point, he's now saying that we're doing double joints. How much longer will it be before all the newer figures have double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, which they should? Maybe existing lines so he can keep the same aesthetic. Like maybe the G.I. Joe ones will all, continue to have what they have now and certain turtles. But I think we're going to start to see the double jointedness because that's really what they need. But it was very interesting to hear him talk about it. And I give Veeves at least credit for asking about it, but I'm sure it was already vetted before. That is how a lot of these interviews go. Super 7 is, I feel, a little bit different because really Brian Flynn has the ability to say whatever he wants because it's his company. Hasbro, completely different because, well, it's a corporation and you want to keep your job in a corporate environment. You kind of got to go by what they say. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because I saw the thumbnail, I looked at it, it said double joints, turned it on, and he did discuss it. But you guys all know my feelings on Brian Flynn. This guy, he made skateboarding reaction figures, and what would you think a skateboarding figure should come with? That's right, guys, a skateboard. All he had to do was make one skateboard and put it in with all the Powell Peralta figures. Pretty easy peasy, if you ask me. Anyway. All right. On to the 4 Horsemen. Just trying to read a couple things here. I just want ball joint next with hinge. You just want your figures not to fall off and shatter, right? And want to say hi to Gonzo. What's up, gents? Gonzo, I don't believe that I have ever seen you here. So thank you for tuning in. And if you've just been someone who has casually watched or maybe didn't jump in the chat, well, thank you for joining in. It's always great to add someone else to our community. Anyway, 4 Horsemen showed off something that is going to be for Legions Con. And they make awesome figures. Like, I'll say it again, paint, sculpt, that is what you're buying. I have not dealt with any of the new articulation, but they give you multiple heads, and you'll see everything that's at the end here. Multiple heads for these guys, but I believe this is a Legions Con exclusive. So if you guys are going, and I know a lot of people are going to Legions Con, which, have you guys been to New Jersey before? I'm disappointed that I went down there for this work thing, and had it been a week earlier, Legion Con would have been going on, and I could have gone to that. So I'm sure some of you guys will be trying to get this or reaching out to certain people. But yeah, I know nothing about the lore. I just know that they give you some really nice stuff. And, you know, the articulation here does look better. I'm looking at the Cosmic Legion that I have back there. And I'm not shocked there, Joe. When I saw pictures of Legion Con, I'm not going to lie, it looked like they were just like... So from what I saw from Legions Con, and this is not putting it down, it reminded me of like they were in rooms like in an elementary school. And it kind of reminds me of when we'd go to ECW and they were in an arena, like in a gymnasium, but people were going nuts for it, compared to when you walked into the WWF and they were in this giant arena. That's kind of what Legions Con looked like when I saw it. Like the pictures and everything. And I'm not saying that makes it bad, because ECW, I remember seeing ECW in, I want to say it was Southgate here, and it was in some gymnasium, not in a school, but just a big gymnasium. And it was absolutely awesome. I'm a 4 Horsemen junkie, ain't gonna lie. What is it that you're not a junkie for? I'm just saying. You even like some Super 7 Ultimates. Anyway. So this guy looks badass. And the picture that they put up, and you'll see this in a second, how awesome the picture looks. But yeah. You situated? You want to say hi to everyone? Right, fuck her. Say hi. Come on. Come on. Say hi. Fuck her. Say hi. Look. Say hi. Oh, look at me. Oh, I know. Now everyone's going to say, Roman, Roman, Roman. All right? I love you. Can you go outside? Go ask the boy. Go ask the boy. Can you go ask the boy? All right. I'm going to mute and yell really quick. All right. Now go outside. Go. Don't knock everything over on your way out. Go see the boy. Go see the boy. Boy. Not me. Go, boy. Go. Look, I'm not doing it. Go see him. I'm not getting up. Like, I can see Roman over here on Pop Blender's thing. Anyway, here is this awesome shot. Mythic Legions has some amazing photography. They really do. They have awesome photographers doing their stuff. And then we have this one here. He's just a rough looking dude. Machine Man says red faced guy needs Batman's bell jar helmet so he can stop holding his breath. I'm sorry. I love getting good. I love this show, man. Dude, you guys make this show so much damn fun. Did anyone here do the mystery box sale from a couple weeks ago? I got some cool figures. Oh, there was a whole bunch of people that did that. I know on Oz's Clubhouse there was a whole bunch, and I know there's a whole bunch of people in here. Joe, I'm pretty sure did for sure. Trevor Williams kills the photography. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. So, all right. So here's everything that you're going to get with. I believe this is a 2-pack. If I am wrong, Joe, or whoever is the big Mythic Legion guy for Horsemen, this is Cosmic Legion. Let me know. But you can see all the stuff that you're going to get with this. So you're going to get 3 heads per figure. Again, it entices people to buy more. It entices people to buy the cheaper bucks for other things so they can swap heads, which I have absolutely no problem with whatsoever because, I took I thought the head sculpt for Snow Job, the second head sculpt was so good that I made a custom one using a Recondo buck. So I'm going to say hi to Hyperdelic, who will have his coming up really soon, his video on May the Power of the Force. All right. G.I. Joe. All right, we got to it, guys. We're going to get into the topic because the topic is all G.I. Joe. Can I go for an hour and 7 minutes talking G.I. Joe? That's stupid. All right, so a couple things to talk about here. The thumbnail. All right, so I laughed way too hard when I made this thumbnail. I wanted something easy to do. And as you know, most of my thumbnails for the show is me, and then I put stuff around or whatever. But because I was honestly going to be breaking down what I heard from their live stream, I was like, what's the best that I could do? I know Tony thought it was funny. So as you can see, all I did was these were all these were already pictures that I had used. Matthew, just for you, I made sure I used my straightest face for spec. Tony laughed. He's like, you even got my hand on your chin. But then I had to go over their names. So I was making this sitting on my couch, and I was fucking dying laughing. This is the type of shit. I'm like, I make myself laugh. Obviously, I'm sitting here on a stream doing it solo, laughing at something that I did with a free program on my phone. So if anyone didn't know, now I am friends with the Toy Kind of Mood. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't care. I think I made that perfectly clear. But I just thought it was awesome. I'm very proud of this one. So anyway, we're gonna get into a couple things that were shown before we actually break down everything. So this came out, and Chris McLeod, I had to watch the live stream. I'm like, what the hell? Because this was a much smaller picture. Now I have it highlighted, and everyone was freaking out about it, and I kept looking at the logo on his shirt, and I'm like, what the hell is that? What am I missing? I didn't say Epic sucks. I didn't say that. I said it's a cheap, easy program. That it's not the highest quality to make like shirts and stuff really with, but it does work with a lot of stuff that I've done. No, there's higher end ones. I don't think it sucks. I think it's actually really easy to use for the most part. But anyway, so what they were looking at was Snake Eyes version 4, and Chris McLeod had talked about it, and they confirmed that he was playing with his childhood Snake Eyes version 4. He's done this before with Python Copperhead, that he was kind of messing around with it, and then everyone assumed it was coming. Chris McLeod, for all intents and purposes, confirmed that he is coming, that he already knows that it's coming. And he pretty much just said, hey, you know what? Just watch. Now, I didn't know what, I had to watch the live stream to figure out, oh, now I see it, because it's very blurry. And then they showed the back of it. So once it was pointed out, I was like, okay, now I see what it is. Now, I know a lot of people will say, hey, Snake Eyes is supposed to be all black. I'm not a fan of the Snake Eyes at all. Matter of fact, I think he's pretty stupid. I know people seem to love him. This is a figure that, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up because I'm a completist. And I'm sure it will look awesome because they've done such a good job with even figures that I don't care how they look. But this is a figure I could live without. But with all that said, when people say Snake Eyes is supposed to be all black or, with maybe shades of, gray in it, this iteration of Snake Eyes has been done numerous times, and not just in recent times either. It hasn't been just alluded to recently. There has been they've done it numerous times. I know he was in the book. They did a 12-inch version of him. A matter of fact, I think there was a 12-inch version like 15 years back. 3.0, I believe, just did a version of this. I would rather have version 3 if they're going to do one. For me personally, and this is why I am not in charge of the brand, I wouldn't make different Snake Eyes. I would make better Snake Eyes using version 2 and version 1. The Commando and Ninja Snake Eyes. Although I do like version 3 in some weird ways. Again, I'm sure this will look awesome. But with that said, I didn't need it. Just like I'm sure Cobra La will look awesome. But I don't need it. Let's say hi to Damon Knight. It does look like a McDonald's toy. And let's say hi to Zazos Clubhouse from across the pond. Like I said, I love when I get... I don't want to say the foreigners. I love when I get the guys from foreign countries, especially when their time zones are so different than ours. Again, we are excluding you, Canada A. I'm also excluding you down in Guatemala. Because your time's really not that much different. Buddy says, the colors of this remind me of Beach Chromer from Transformers. Yeah, I can kind of see it. So this is when, the guns and stuff were just out of control. The G.I. Joe team, again, you can say what you want. I didn't care for this, for this era. I did have this figure for some really, really weird. Yeah, my interview is really awesome, but people can go to Thursday with a friend and see mine with Lenny. Travis, everyone has seen your interview. Yes, I will share it since I will be talking about it. I will share it after this. I will put it in there. But everyone's already seen it. It's all over all the different it's on what's it called? I got it right here. Oops. What? TMI News. So It's like, yeah, you like they pushed the shit out of that thing. Yeah. Damon Knight, he's got a boat anchor on his back. He was hauling around the USS Flag's boat anchor. Yeah, I'd say he's more of a metalhead than a punk rocker. We found that out. Anyway, so this is all but confirmed with Chris McLeod. Again, I don't think I need it, but hey, it's coming. They gave us two name only reveals. One is Falcon in a 2-pack, and Chris McLeod confirmed that it will be a 2-pack, which is a Cobra Joe 2-pack. According to Viper Island, he is the one that broke the news. That's what I heard when I found out, oh, hey, look at this. This was the troll from a couple weeks ago. And then they also said there is a Cobra Commander coming. Now, there are some things I want to discuss on Cobra Commander, and I cannot believe I'm going to do this. Now, I'll talk more about it later. One of the things that I noticed, but Matthew had pointed this out to me, is that when we all know about Hooded Cobra Commander. I've gone over it again. It's not that they're not allowed to do it. Well, Hasbro can do it anytime they want. They have been told that they're not allowed to do it. But for some odd reason, when it's brought up on the full force, Chris McLeod no longer goes apeshit. Like, I would go apeshit over it because I'm so tired of talking about it. Which makes me wonder if they're starting to, if that is starting to come down. If they're starting to relax on that whole issue. So, I know everyone wants it, and I swear if they end up doing one, oh man, the amount of people that will come out of the woodwork telling us that we were wrong about it, who refuse to understand that a corporation who owns something, they can change their mind. And we never said that like, they were told they can't do it. And it was all because of Devon Adventure. I made a video about it years ago. So, but I don't know. It's kind of odd how Chris has kind of become lax about it. He discusses a little bit more. Or maybe he just got done talking about it. I really don't see us coming up with a Hooded Cobra Commander anytime soon. So, Viper Island also said there is a deluxe battle Cobra Commander coming. He has confirmed this. Probably from the same guy that confirmed that Dr. Mindbender and the Trouble Bubble are coming as a Target exclusive. Of course, that was how many years ago, and we're still waiting on it. Probably in the back stock room of Target. All right. So before we get into that, let's talk about this. I did a wonderful read. As I mentioned, I think I was a breakout star in the Empire Strikes Back read. My C-3PO was impeccable. My Boba Fett was awesome. I really think my man's voice was probably the best. I actually had to play 2 roles at once. C-3PO, man's voice, C-3PO again. But yeah, she said a lot of them are coming, and we're gonna talk about that, Sean. There's a lot of different Cobra Commanders they can do. But what is a lot, you know? After we got done, it's Chad, who was just here a bit ago. He sent this over to me. So Laser Pants got this. Now, it's unclear if these are both Nemesis, Immortal / Enforcer heads. Clearly, the one that doesn't look like a Klingon is. The other one looks like a Klingon. And the only reason why I say that it's unclear if they both are, maybe it's been cleared elsewhere. I mean, maybe someone has confirmation that they're both for the Nemesis Immortal. But they have numerous times they have shown like the G.I. Joe heads with other heads right by it, because it's coming out of a factory. And these factories, Hasbro doesn't just have one factory that they use. Yes, DJ5 hash, Nemesis Klingon, exactly. These factories are doing multiple brands. So there's a good chance that this is being done somewhere else. Now, I don't know where there would be a Klingon. I'm pretty sure everyone can see why this looks like a Klingon. But at the same time, if you wanted to have a Nemesis Immortal and then you had the Nemesis Enforcers or whatever, and you wanted to have them have different heads, here you go. Yeah, it's Thanos and Apocalypse from rip-off fourth party toy lines. It could be. But yeah, so this was really interesting. I think it's kind of funny. I mean, they announce these things and then, things have to sneak out. But again, this was, from Laser Pants. And again, I don't know if he sent it to Chad or Chad just happened to see it. But he sent it to me like right after. And again, I don't, you guys know my feelings with the 3POA. I'm not a big fan of how they do things. But at the same time, if someone drops something, the proper thing is not to act like you don't. The proper way to go about it is you don't act like they didn't give out the news. All right. You just give credit where it's due. It's real simple. A lot of you guys have channels. Just remember that when it's going around, because this community is supposed to be just that, a community, but it will help your channel out if you break some news. You obviously want the props for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But just remember, give people credit. Don't be like an island and a toy crustacean. So anyway, and that's it. That's all my slides. So now let's get into what the Joe team talked about on A Punk Kind of Mood, where I did 5 different interviews. So I think they had some pretty good questions. Again, I've often talked about it. I've had Lenny on the show. I've corresponded with him a good amount. I like him. I personally don't want to do interviews like that where, hey, you have to vet you have to vet all the questions. They already know what they're going to tell you. I agree. We need to learn this stuff. We need to know this stuff. I'm glad that they do this stuff. But the reason why I did, what I did with Lenny when he was on Thursday with a friend is because it was sitting, it was just a conversation with him about other things. It wasn't to talk about G.I. Joe. Because to me, I don't want to be hamstrung. I understand how corporations work. And there are certain questions you can't ask. Not everyone would be willing to not ask certain questions. So I understand why they have to vet them. And then you have to send stuff over and make sure that, they're all good with everything. It doesn't mean I would never do one, because it does get a lot of eyes on your channel. But for me, it's not, it's not what I do. But they give you a lot of information. But a lot of times you got to read between the lines of everything. So I'm going to get into, I think most of the questions they had, and they're just some of the ones that I was more interested in, some of the stuff that I want to kind of talk about. Baldy says, vetted or not, some of those questions were pretty good, and all the guys are, no, and I'm not saying that they're not good questions, but there's a lot of questions. again, and it has nothing to do with you guys. It's what they're going to answer. They already know these are the amount of questions. Even when I did the thing with Lenny, I had to send it over to them, and that had nothing to do with Hasbro. We discussed a little bit of Hasbro. But anyway, so they asked a question about what wrestlers do you want? None. I don't care about wrestlers. I didn't want Sergeant Slaughter in the line. He's a turncoat. He turns back on Hulk Hogan in the USA. I don't care if you think I look like him, which was never brought up in my entire life that I look like Sergeant Slaughter till one day. I don't really care. Like, to me, I don't need wrestlers. I don't need John Cena. I really don't need that asshole CM Punk. I don't need Dave Bautista. I don't need anyone, any wrestler. I don't need anyone in general. I don't think G.I. Joe needs to have an actor that's going to portray a character. Do a movie properly, and there's your actors that act like who they are. It's fun. I understand, and I know, Travis, you'll start to defend everything. Please don't defend everything. I have my feelings. Well, Lenny fixed the Foot Locker issue from your interview by getting rid of the Foot Locker altogether. I told him, it drove me nuts, man. I know it drove Bobby B nuts too. But yeah, so I don't think that, again, if they want to get mainstream attention, it's not a bad idea. More importantly, it's tradition. It's not tradition. They picked Sergeant Slaughter because of his character. Roddy Piper never happened. They had the fridge. They tried having Rocky Balboa. None of it really mattered. I mean, without Sergeant Slaughter, a real American hero is perfectly fine. And I hear the guy's wonderful. Sergeant Red here, she loves him. He's amazing. He's such a nice guy, and I'm sure he is. All right, he still turned his back on Hulk Hogan in the USA. And I think the biggest atrocity with not only him turning his back on Hulk Hogan and the USA was they tried to make us think that we didn't realize that was the Iron Sheik. I knew it was the Iron Sheik. All right. I watched him do the camel clutch on people. Anyway, enough of that. Retro card, white border. I didn't like this answer. So they asked about the white border that was from the Real American Hero. Emily said that just look for it on special things. Now, I'm sorry, this was something that I feel they should have fixed. People really wanted it. To me, it's not that big of a deal. The card back was more of an issue, even though I'm not on card. That card was just so bad. And the new cards are wonderful. Again, you could knock someone out. You can knock someone out with them. They're probably worse than a steel chair in the wrestling ring. So props to them for doing that. One of the things I would have asked or mentioned, I can't even say that it would be asking, but it was mentioning, is I don't like what they do on the back. Now, I understand that they have to have the 5-language file card. We're not getting over that. Go look at the back of Transformers. They do the same thing. They look even worse when you're trying to look at what their specialties are. But I really wish it would have been nice if someone would have said, hey, you're doing these retro cards. Could you make the file card a little bit smaller? And then your cross-sell, rather than have the 3 figures that are in the wave, why don't you use all the retro figures? You have Cobra Commander. I don't care that he came with the Hiss tank. They had on the cross-sell, they had ones that were mail-away order before, and they had previous lines. You have Gung Ho, Destro, Lady J, I go on and on. It looks stupid having just 3. They should have a proper cross-sell. I understand the 5-language. We're never going to get over, we're never going to get that unless if it's a Haslab or something like that. So I really wish that would have been brought up. Again, that would be something that I would love to ask them, or not even ask them, but say, hey, why don't you do this? I guess that's a question, but it's be more me telling them, do this, because it looks better. It gives us a better aesthetic. So they discussed this with I want to say Dan Who, but it was asked again, and it was about why don't the retro figures come with the retro weapons? Now this is where I just can't go corporate. I understand what they're saying, that they're doing them during a specific line. So there are weapons that are being made. There are weapons being made, and to redo the tooling to do that would cost more money, and they have to look at their budget. I fully understand it's a budget. Before anyone says anything, G.I. Joe is not a $1 billion company or $1 billion brand. Hasbro is a $1 billion company. G.I. Joe is maybe $1 million brand right now. And they talked about, hey, it was just during the tooling, and we already know that people have some of those. I think that's BS. If you're going to do the retro cards, then you should try to do as close to weapons that they came with back then. That's just how it should be. You have an AK-47. You don't have to have the exact AK-47. You just needed a gray AK-47 to go with the Snow Serpent. You really needed to redo the snowshoes, and you really needed to do that rocket launcher. That's all you had to give them, right? And you say, hey, when are they going to use them again? That is very true. You could use them on other snow figures. But they did a camcorder for Lady J. There's no other really reason to use that. But you're doing retro cards. You're saying, hey, here's what we're going to give you. It's like the original. Then you should have close to the original weapons. I don't want the exact same. And again, this is where you say, well, we have to take a little bit away from here, for financial, for the budget, and put it into this because we need to make this right. And I know Lenny talked about how he just wanted troop builders. A lot of people were upset about the eels, which I agree. It was wrong to make them all go to Amazon. They didn't last very long. And then, again, I don't understand. People were bitching about, people were complaining about the retro card back doing Snow Serpents, but everyone complained about not wanting to spend, $35 on the army building. Well, if you have one or two of the deluxe Snow Serpents, you can mix and match and do all kinds of stuff. Come on now. The retro card line is an afterthought to appease real American hero fans. As it expands, they'll make more retro weapons. The hero fan, I understand that. But again, I'm not going to make excuses for that type of shit. The baldy, listen. You're doing a retro card. So you're going to tell me, here's Han Solo on a retro card. But you know what? We're not going to give you Han Solo's blaster because we're not making that right now. What we're going to give you is one of the Rebel Soldiers' blasters. But fucking deal with it. No, that's bullshit. You wanted to make them. And again, I like the team. But this is where they have to be called out and say, no, you're making retro cards. They should come with very close to retro weapons. All right? You have to also be able to, you have to be willing to push back and say, I disagree with that. You don't have to agree with everything that, you can like everything, but you don't have to agree with absolutely everything. So that is, and I said, and I understand what they're saying about budget and everything, but you got to have the backbone to say, listen, you can't just be a giddy little schoolgirl, when you're talking to them, but yeah, but that's just, and again, you're getting this access because you guys are willing to say, hey, here are the questions. We're not going to overstep our boundaries. I get it. I do. But this is me on my show saying how I feel about certain things. Now, going back to the budget thing, Lenny stated that if he had his way, and I've talked about this numerous times, and this is, again, you can go look at Valaverse, and you can look at Masters of the Universe, you look at G.I. Joe, you look at Marvel Legends. they constantly have to reuse bucks. And I understand it to a point. But Lenny also said, hey, if I had my choice, I would make a new mold for every single figure. Again, and he goes into, and this is where budgetary comes in. Not only would my sculptor hate me, but we would be able to push out like, and he didn't say push out like 8 figures, but that's probably all they'd be able to do. And then people would be pissed off. You can't make a new mold for every single figure. It is not the 80s where they're doing O-rings and they're just flying off the shelves. But I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was very important. I think it was something that was glossed over that people wouldn't understand, or not even wouldn't understand, but wouldn't really hear. But he would love to do, because I've heard people go for $25, every figure should be brand new. Well, no, first off, it's not $25 going in Hasbro's pocket. All right, Target wants to make their profit too. Walmart, I've talked about this numerous times. Money talks at the end of the day. You got to keep the shareholder. Hey, dude, you are absolutely right. But again, you still have to push back on some things. Yeah, I'm a little lost here. But yeah, it just again, people have to understand that they talked about as more and more bucks are created, they're able to swap and pop many of them. Which is great, and it's how they're created. A lot of it went to the customizing and how they go into customizing, and that's when Tony acted like a little schoolgirl, knowing that they customize, and the gummy weapons. Now that I found this very interesting, and I feel like some people probably didn't catch this. I caught it on the second time watching it. And they talked about the gummy weapons, and if they're phased out yet. Now, I don't think he didn't really answer the question that Tony had asked. I know because I asked Tony to ask it. But my question was to them: I know you said by 25 these will be phased out. Have we started to see these phased out with the figures that are out, because we're still seeing a lot of gummy weapons. So the one thing that oh my God, Tony, you guys are ridiculous. The one thing that he said was they're always working with stuff. They can't have them break. Let's say like a Valaverse weapon breaks, it's sharp. A Neca thing breaks because they're for the 4 and up. Then this is because of the problem. And I fully understand that. But the thing that he said, and again, I'm not sure if people had really caught, was he said the plastics that we're moving to mostly are going to be like the Snake Eyes weapons on Snake Eyes 00. And I think that's what a lot of us have been saying. The original weapons, whether you liked them or not, now the original Snake Eyes weapons were really good, but they weren't soft. That's why none of us could figure out, like, why are these things like rubber? Why can't they be like the Snake Eyes ones? Why can't they be like the Cobra Island weapons? Whether you like them or not, they were fine. And I think it did him saying that's what they're going to do. Again, I don't think a lot of people had noticed it. He kind of was, because he didn't want to talk about the type of plastic. But then he gets into the durometer, and I know they discuss things like that. And I only know durometer from skateboarding. That's how I knew what durometer was and the hardness of the plastic and stuff like that. But anyway, I found that interesting. And if that's what they're going to use, I'm perfectly happy with it, because that's really what they should have been using all along. It seemed like at the beginning they had a really, really good formula for the weapons, the plastic, not the weapons. All right. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get into, the Nerf guns and stuff like that. He did discuss that all the weapons are built in or are made in-house. Everything is designed in-house, other than some of the vehicles like the Vamp and stuff like that. So there was something that also was mentioned that I don't know if people caught, and that was when they asked about the weapons. He talked how they're all designed in-house, and all by him too, and they're all designed, and it all depends on what Hasbro's stance is at the time. Now, understand this: Hasbro is not always for military. All right, so I really read that as there are some times that Hasbro is not going to be okay with machine guns, and that's maybe why you saw at the beginning they were all these Nerf guns, these blaster guns, right? And he kind of slipped that in. There was a couple times that they pretty much said, like, hey, we weren't supposed to be around this long. Quickly, I want to say hi to Carl Beatty here. That 4-and-up restriction is a bummer. Corporate is going to corporate, I suppose. You're absolutely right. And listen, if these were actually, and there are kids buying them. I've been at Sergeant Red's and I've watched kids walk over to the classified and they're buying classified figures. But it's not like the O-rings back in the day where they're flying off the shelves. But I agree with you. The 4-and-up, it sucks for us as collectors. I know there's 3D parties, Gridiron, Arsenal, Pew Pews, different companies like that. But we shouldn't have to. If you don't want to buy that, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to have the weapons and them not aim elsewhere. But I found it really interesting when he said, it all depends on what Hasbro stance at the time. So if Hasbro is standing on a very liberal stance at that point, they might have to watch the types of weapons that they're going to be doing. I think at this point, it is this juggernaut. It is by far the hottest adult collectible going right now. And I think this is, why they're given the leeway. So they asked about the neck joint and why they don't look up for a shooting prone position. And I found this very interesting. And then I started thinking about where I used to work. And someone would call in with an issue with their computer software that was created. And my boss would call back a couple weeks later after he figured out what was wrong with it to hop on it to fix it. And then be like, oh, well, we already called the owner and he fixed it, but it created 3 more problems. And then because the owner was only looking at fixing one thing. So he talked about that and he said he really wants to fix that, but they went to this barbell. And it really didn't dawn on me that when you're designing something and engineering something, you already have it. So it's turning and moving in a specific way. Now you can either make it so you take that range of motion away and have it look up, or you have to completely redesign it and make sure that it's going to stick on there so you can still get that full range of motion and look up. It's kind of like, the arms. People can do non-butterfly joints and get better articulation than the classified butterfly joints. They're there to say they have butterfly joints, but very few of them actually work. So there is that there. I'm talking a lot. But I did find that interesting. I agree. I really, really wish that a figure like Shooter and Low Light, that they had a better articulation on their neck. And it is really easy for us to say, well, why can't they just do this? But when he talked about how, hey, this is what we did, but for us to engineer it to do that also, which we would love to do, you have to do a whole new tool molding and make sure that it's not going to break. And there are other, you can't, like a 3D printer, you can just, hey, I'm going to do this. You change things. It's for your own collection. They have to make sure that they're not going to break. So, Sunny Sundry says 3D printing takes some time And time is money. When printers get faster, prices might be able to drop. They are dropping, but you're absolutely right. I mean, again, people don't realize the stuff the Gridiron is using. That is, those are $1,000 machines, thousands of dollar machines. They're not something you just pick up, at Best Buy. The only way we can make a difference is with our wallets, but as well as I do, we pre-order, pull up Pulse at noon on a new release, and are willing to give us some money. And again, I'm not saying that they're not giving us good stuff, because I'm more than happy with what they're doing. And for me, the retro weapons aren't as important because, like Lenny said, a lot of people already have stuff that they can do or that they can use. But there's a lot of people that don't. There are a lot of people that just like G.I. Joe. They want something. Hey, this is what I had as a kid. It's bigger. I'm older. I need glasses now. I can see it better. Awesome, right? And those are the people that you need to bring in. They already have you and me. All right. And the great thing is, see, one of the things that, and we've talked about this, is when it comes to Valiverse, Bobby owns that. When it comes to Mythic Legions, I don't know who owns Mythic Legions or Four Horsemen, but they own it, right? Boss Fight Studios, same thing. These smaller companies, they look at it and they go, "Oh, I don't like this." And the people out there are saying they don't like it. I'm going to work at changing it. Hasbro, for the G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, Star Wars, those ones are even worse because they have to not only go through Hasbro, they also have to go through, Disney. Then it becomes like, well, we got it through corporate. Sometimes it's easier not to do it. Just fix a few things on your own. A lot of red tape, like any corporation. All right. I got like 3 pages of notes, and I'm halfway through one. All right. Jokingly, they asked about the Haslab and the flag. This tells you that they are actually they cost and price this stuff out, and they size stuff out. And Lenny said an actual 1-to-1 scale flag would be about 85 feet. But to do a classified one, because again, as big as the USS flag was, 7.5 feet, put 5 Sky Strikers on it. It doesn't fit very well. That would be 25 feet. And the Sky Striker would be 5 feet long. So just joking around, that kind of got brought up. Again, I think that finally has died down. People realize they're not going to be doing 1/18 scale Haslabs. They did that. I thought Emily explained that very well, that, hey, you know what? We learned a lesson from that Sky Striker that as wonderful as it is, we're not going to be doing Haslabs of something that you can go buy on eBay readily. I love that Sky Striker, but I do agree with that assessment of it. So they asked, how are the Haslabs decided? And this isn't just for G.I. Joe. This is for all of... I'm sorry I'm not reading the comments. It's just kind of... It's hard for me to give what I'm talking about and read through everything. I'm trying to skim through it. So I think what happened here, and I have no insider knowledge of this, I think what happened here, they touted this. They were excited about this. I think what happened was Lucasfilm said, no, we want this in and we want that in. Because they had a whole marketing line of pre-orders that they were going to drop to go with it. I think that they had it ready. They sent it up. They had to get their permission from Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm said, no, we want this and we want this. And now they went, oh shit, now we have to fix this. We can't just drop it. I think Lucasfilm was probably the worst ones for them to deal with. And because they had success with the last one, Lucasfilm was probably all high and mighty right now going, oh, well. But yeah. So it's one of those things. No, yeah. So if you want, send me a super chat if you want me to read your comments. But I think that's what happened, because you had it all set for May the 4th. It was all set to go, and the one guy kept saying on that live stream, "Yeah, well, we had other stuff we were going to show, but because we had to push this back." They can never say, "Hey, Lucasfilm came in and told us we had to do this." We already know Lucasfilm told them they had to do that stupid Riva lightsaber. I just think that's what happened. But anyway, they asked how they decide on the Haslab, and they said they do fan testing. So I don't know what fans, because they haven't asked me, and I don't know of anyone that they've asked. My guess would be Chris McLeod. But they said they get ideas of where they kind of want to go, and then they do this. But not just the G.I. Joe brand, all the brands. But again, if you're doing something like that, I feel like there would be some major leaks. Although there are leaks, because I know that there were people that knew that the Dragonfly was what was coming. Star Wars is doing fine. It's a loud vocal minority on the internet claiming they are dying. G.I. Joe Classified died like 12 times. Well, hey, listen, I just watched Viper Island. He said it's doing wonderful. Although he's been proclaiming the line is dying for like 2 fucking years. Now he's proclaiming, because of him, all the stuff they're doing. They are leading Classified. Although he doesn't buy figures, he waits for people to send him figures. You know, kind of like that 3 stacks to the max guy. Just kidding. He actually bought that vamp, and now he can't stop making vamp videos. Anyway, I didn't say his name though. But that's how they said they do the Haslab. How they decide, they kind of have an idea of what they want, and that's how they push towards it. And again, I like that. God damn it. Woody, read this. Fart noises. Woody, you would probably enjoy the video, because there is a fart part in their video. Thank you for the $10 super chat. It is greatly appreciated. But yeah. So that's how they do it. Again, I know you have to do some sort of research to decide if this is what's going to work. But they're kind of, so far they said that things have been so good with them that the bosses are really happy. This line was not supposed to succeed. I'll go back to it again. Yes, Tony farted on Emily. Okay, so the Haslab updates, Emily said, and she was very honest about it, we're just way busier. Now, this is once again going to explain what I believe that Hasbro doesn't really get. She said we're all way busier than what we were back then, last year. And we want to give you more product, but there's not more people on the team, but there's more product coming out. It is that classic corporate thing where it's like, hey, you know what? We want more out of you. I think because, some of these people really enjoy what they're doing. Bjorn shows up and says, oh man, I hate that stack guy. Yeah, he can go live on an island with a viper. I'm sorry, a toy crustacean. But they said, we're busier, and she took full responsibility that, yeah, we probably should have done more updates on it. But we're just, we're busy. She does 4 lines, whether people like her or not. She does 4 lines. And remember, she wasn't on the team when it started. As a matter of fact, she took over on the team after it came out and people didn't like what was going on. But the team isn't getting any bigger, but the line is. And so they're putting out more product. They now have a bigger budget because they sell more. That is how corporations work. You have brands that are going to, here's your budget. You increase your budget by making more product that sells, you'll get a bigger budget the next year because you're selling more product for us. It's better for everything. But she did say that the stuff will be at SDCC, and they really did talk about like the look of it's going to be the same, but there's little things that when they get the product in, we need to change this. We need a clip here. We need this to hold on. They specifically talked about how the vamp didn't have with the window when it closed. When it closed, it didn't have like the little locking peg for it. So it's little things like that. I don't think that we are. That is still going to be very large. I really think it's going to be one of the Iron Grenadier vehicles. Because by the time it comes, they're starting to push Iron Grenadier. By the time it comes, Iron Grenadier is going to be in full effect there. Tony on the Joe team, not Tony's Figs. Tony's Figs with an S. He gets mad if you say Tony Figs. He said thank you for the support of the Haslab and for the brand in general, because it makes it easier it makes it easier for the bosses. This brand was not supposed to be around. Emily even said, yeah, we thought we'd be kind of like in and out. And here we are almost 5 years later. I didn't mind the original figures, but they had nothing going on with them. They were supposed to be connected to that video game. I think that there were people in there that wanted G.I. Joe, Lenny, and guys like that. They fought for it. Hasbro just said, fine, we own the fucking product. Just fucking do something. And when it doesn't work, we're taking it away and we're going to move you somewhere else. And then it took off. And now they can easily just sit there and say, hey, look at this. The Haslab, it funded in 8 hours. Hey, this Haslab, it funded in the Dragonfly funded in, I think, 16 hours, was it? Something like that. So once again, they're kind of at that point where they would have to do something really bad or something awful would have to happen in the world where they don't want to see military. But let's be honest, right now, isn't this when you want military? You might want a younger generation to be wanting to join the military, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's nice having the greatest military in the world. Might makes right. Slapshot said it. Anyway. And Woody said 102 people watching right now. So we should have 102. I now have Pop and Arnold Palmer all opened at once. I'm living on the fucking edge, man. It's Pop. Anyway. Let's see here. Oh, so Tony asked if they'll ever go to small conventions, either as a team or even as individuals. I thought that they really skirted this question. I hate that they don't. Again, this also goes to a corporate thing. Why Hasbro wouldn't be like, hey, look at this. Somebody else pays for this convention called Joe Fest that's supposed to be centered around G.I. Joe. Well, you know what? We should just take a few little, take a couple $1,000s and send our team down there. And hell, you know what? Let's put together a fucking Snake Eyes Joe Fest exclusive and send it down with them, right? It would be awesome. And I think it's ridiculous. I know for a fact that at least one of them says that he would love to go, whether it's individual or not, but there is no reason why they don't go. Yeah. And I understand that that again, and it's not the team because I know they want to go, but for some odd reason, Hasbro is looking at, well, here we have San Diego Comic-Con. They did WonderCon. Again, I can understand why they don't go to, Legion's Con, because it's G.I. Joe. I can understand why they're not going to go to the Motu one that I just went to. What the hell is it called? Someone tell me what the one that we went to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, chat. I mean, again, this is corporate shit. Like, I mean, again, PowerCon. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, I mean, this is corporate shit. I mean, we all live in that world. Okay, if there's a Dodge centered car convention that someone else is putting on because they love Dodges, right? If Chrysler Group says no, you can't go and take that brand new Challenger. You can't take that Hellcat. I'm sorry, that electric cat that they have, since they've done away with the V8 engines, in cars at least. Then Dodge can't go. But it would be stupid because someone is doing all the work for you. But that is how corporations are run. And it does suck. It really, really does suck. And again, it'd be cool if it would be awesome if they just be like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to take a vacation day and we're going to go down there. But you still have to look at it. Hey, this is my job. It's not a job. It's not a gas station job. And no offense to anyone that works at a gas station. It's a career. You don't want to lose that type of stuff. The diversity was brought up. I don't really care about diversity, to be 100% honest. I want characters that mean something. But G.I. Joe has always been diverse. I know Baldy talked about how he personally likes the girl version of Dial Tone. I mean, I don't really care if you want to give us the girl version of Dial Tone, but I want the real version of Dial Tone. All right? I don't want a boy version of Cover Girl. I want Cover Boy. I don't want a man version of Scarlet. You can do that later on. I think Don Marino is a pretty damn cool figure. Not as cool as Johnny Marino. Oh shit! Did I just say that? Meant Johnny Reno. And again, I wasn't reading the comics then. So I know there's a story to it, and I don't even really have a problem with it. But what I do want, sorry, I totally forgot that he's Johnny Reno. But he's a better Marino. That's all I know. Marino. But again, like that's, I understand the whole diversity thing. And yes, G.I. Joe has always been a diverse toy group, which makes it easy for Emily. Again, you guys know my feelings with that. It's a lightning rod, but to me, just give me the original characters and then go ahead and do whatever you want to do. And they are part of the lore. Dial Tone was one of my favorite figures. And again, I'm not saying you can't make the female version of him. I don't care. I want the original version before you start making the secondary versions. The same way that people wanted a bazooka before they wanted the Tiger Force bazooka. Right? Same concept. No one wanted, you didn't want to get Glenda before you got a good Scarlet, right? You don't want to be looking at that Glenda going, wow, that's clearly going to be the Scarlet Buck. I can't wait for them to actually do that. That's all that I'm saying. They talked about the video game, and they asked what they're doing to get kids into the line so it can survive. I don't know if there's too much you can do other than there are kids that do enjoy. Like I said, I have been at Sergeant Red's when I watched kids walk to the G.I. Joe aisle, and they have almost every G.I. Joe figure there, and most of them are priced properly. They don't overcharge stuff. And I've seen kids at the store buying them too. But it's never going to be like the O-rings again. I've said it before when people say toys are going to go away. As kids get older, no. What will happen is adults, the kids today, when they become adults, if they start collecting toys, what they will do is they will collect toys of the video games that they played. G.I. Joe will always have a place. It just will be a smaller place. Transformers, they're changing, they're transforming robots, man. It ain't that easy. Travis, I listen. I go till midnight. I don't stop at midnight. There's a big difference. That's the difference. I go till midnight. I don't stop at midnight. I should. I mean, I fucking should because, I have to wake up in the morning and all that other shit. All right. But I don't really know if there's too much you can do. Everyone talks about, the G.I. Joe line is a very, very, very weird line. No, Chad, I agree with you. And I've been saying for years, they need to have two different types of cartoons. One being like Teen Titans Go. Hell, Yo Joe. It's already there. Having a Teen Titans Go style cartoon that gets kids into it. And then having a more teenage adult brand cartoon. I believe G.I. Joe is, again, all you have to do is say, look, here's these comics. We have an outline for you. Modernize it so it is in this day and age. And I said it before. When I was on a Toy Kind of Mood, they talked about, and I've been saying this for quite some time. They need to start with, again, do a TV series of the LARP team, right? And you're going to talk about that whole team, what happens, but you talk about that bond that Stalker, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow all have. And at the same time, you have another TV show that's maybe Extensive Enterprises, and you work your way up to G.I. Joe. Did they just become best friends? Yep. God, I wish I had that. I wish I had that clip. No, I think no. I agree. It is a niche thing. I don't think that it's, again, I don't think it's ever going to go away. It's just going to be smaller. But look at Teen Titans Go. I know people hate Teen Titans Go, but my daughter and I sat there and we laughed our asses off. All right. It was so much fun. Why can't you do that with G.I. Joe? You have Snake Eyes, Scarlet, Duke, Cobra Commander, Destro, and then you bring in other ones, and they're these little tiny little characters that are so stupid and, like, again, fun, something that seems to get lost. But then you have an adult that brings them in, an adult cartoon for the teenagers that, hey, look at this. We still use the same voices for those characters. And then again, I think G.I. Joe, for what it actually is better in a episodic rather than just a big giant movie. Because you do a G.I. Joe movie, you got to explain everything that's going on. But if you build up to a movie, just like the Avengers did, it would be awesome. Anyway. Emily talked about how G.I. Joe can be anything. I'm not sure I really agree with that. She talked about how, like, Spider-Man has been written. Spider-Man is not going to be a bad guy. I guess. But, in actuality, I don't know if I fully agree with that. Cobra Commander can't be good. You can't take Duke and just make him bad. I mean, you can, but, how does that actually go? But yeah. And Chad says, G.I. Joe in live action would do great in episodic TV show like the... Yes. And because you don't have to have the whole fucking team. That's the biggest thing. When you try and cram everything in, my God, it just becomes, you're doing too much. You have to explain this character and that character. I don't want that. You can do a whole series about the Dreadnoks. That sounds absolutely fucking awesome, right? But I don't know if I want to see a movie crammed in about the Dreadnoks, not right off the bat. But Emily talked about how things, they can do whatever they want, and they can change this, and they can make this person bad. And I wasn't really following her. I understood, like, hey, Spider-Man's never going to be the bad guy, but without media, I'm like, the lore is there. Larry Hama wrote out the lore. Now I know the Energon universe, it is different, and I'm okay with that. But, it to me, it'll always be like George Lucas. What George Lucas said about Star Wars, that's it, whether you liked it or not. Now you can add to it, and I can kind of take pieces that I like. Larry Hama is G.I. Joe. He is a real American hero. He's written everything. So I wasn't fully following her on that, but they talked about figures that they like to see in the new comics, like Wreckage. I thought they kind of missed the mark, and not the Toy Kind of Mood guys. I think the team kind of missed the mark on what they were trying to ask, and maybe I missed it. But he asked like what they were trying to ask. I think what they were trying to get at was, hey, we've noticed that the Energon universe is using a lot of the classified. Are you guys working together? Because that's what they should be doing. You already have the Hamaverse. You already have the Real American Hero. They can make stuff like that, which is awesome. But if they're working with, this Energon universe, then that's awesome. They did talk about meeting. They said this writing team, they are on board. They have a vision for it, which is awesome. So I hope that for everything that they're doing, they're going to be using, and it looks like they're using a lot of the classified designs. They showed it with the HISS tanks. I know the Full Force had showed that off a couple months ago, how you could see a lot of different things like that. Obviously, they're getting into Cobra fucking Law. Maybe someone can answer this for me. Did they say again that they like the fact that there is no dedicated media for G.I. Joe? I don't know if they specifically said that, because that they were talking about the comic books and how they just had a meeting with them. So I agree with you. There is dedicated media. The problem is, and Lenny and Emily had both talked about this before, and this is something that I really don't like that Hasbro does with G.I. Joe, is that they are only in charge of toys. There is a whole nother team that deals with production side, which we know as the Bonaventure, for like TV series, movies. Then there's another side that deals with video games. And there is, and then there's like the comic side, which I don't understand. Like, how are they not? I mean, that they're making the toys. Like, they should be directly involved with it. Like, hey, what figures are you? What are you using in this comic? Because let's work together so we can design a figure that's going to come out. Obviously it's being written at the same time, or in advance. So, but yeah, it is weird. I don't really like that, because there is media. There's just not a TV presence media. But people don't read comics anymore, I guess. I mean, I don't, but I understand they're there. But they talked about wanting to see Wreckage. I have a feeling they're going to be pushing a lot of these figures that we have never seen in the Energon universe. Emily listens to the show because she talked about how they work together, and she used the rising tide raises all boats I wrote she's listening. That was something that was said on here by JLS Comics, which I thought was awesome. And I'm like, she's fucking listening, because it is a known saying, but it's just kind of odd that she would use that. Sometimes I have a hard time reading my writing. Allison, I know my handwriting isn't always perfect. I'm still trying to read some of this stuff here. So there was something very interesting that Lenny talked about with the retro card, and I really liked it. No, she probably doesn't watch your chat. So the question was asked about certain figures that are very classic in the classified. I don't remember how they asked it, but how, like, you know, are you going to make this figure? It was Quick Kick. Are you going to make this one in a retro card? And from what I gathered from the question is they were really alluding to, well, you know, what would be the purpose of making this in a retro card when basically the classified version is the exact same. Now, Travis had brought up before that they really should have classified up the Quick Kick, and I agree, because they probably will put them on a retro card at one point. I thought what Lenny said was very interesting, and he said that, you know, these are being designed 18 to 24 months out, and we didn't know what the retro card line was really going to be around. And I want to get certain figures into the line. So we did retro versions because he wanted to see Airborne. Quick Kick was one they were talking about. But now we know the retro line is here. And that was something that Emily pushed. And he specifically said Emily was the one that wanted this. They said, why don't we do this retro line for the American Hero? So I have a feeling, just from what they were saying, that what you're going to see is that going forward, you're going to start to see more figures on the retro card, and the classified ones will be more classified up. I still think they're going to be very close because they want to reuse those molds, but it does allow you to do a little bit more. No, it doesn't. It doesn't change the fact you're still putting out cards. You're still putting out figures that people want on card that are supposed to have the proper weapons. Again, not everyone wants to go to Gridiron or order a Valaverse pack or go to Arsenal Pew Pews and get stuff. I understand the reason why they do it. I understand the reason why they do it. So, aren't the retro versions just to finish their course correction from the original aesthetics of classified anyway? I believe that's what it was at first. They've never said that. I kind of gathered that's what it was. But now what they're doing is, because it's since it's a line that's going to be there, it gives them the option to classify stuff up and not have have the community complain and whine that, you know, this isn't exactly what I had. I know, go figure. These people whine and cry. Because if they give the retro one, but again, if you're not giving all the retro weapons and accessories, it defeats the purpose of saying that it is retro. Travis says, all right, guys, I got to bounce. Glad you guys enjoyed the interview. Thanks, everyone, for the kind words. I'll finish up with tomorrow. Punk, appreciate it. No problem. Thank you for the interview. Again, also, thank you for doing a wonderful thumbnail. And I just did a better thumbnail by putting my face over all of yours. Just saying. I am a better looking guy. Anyway. But I thought that was really interesting what Lenny had said. So maybe we'll start to see less. And I don't think we really are, because who knows if they're going to come out retro. But I like updating stuff, making things change, making changes. But if we know that if we know that we're going to get a retro card, then awesome. Maybe, we can say, I'll just wait a little bit more. One of my biggest issues with the Snow Serpent not having the gun is, I've said it before, that AK that he had, the original O-ring, is probably my favorite gun in the Real American Hero line. Kenzo, Lawrence, are you going to interview Ace from Ramen and Joe Fast? Inquiring minds want to know. I mean, what is there to ask? If he starts putting out product, then that was the whole point of what I had, when I mentioned something. He just happened to be watching, and now all of a sudden he is constantly putting out updates. I mean, people still don't have product, but that's a whole other story. So the retro line, it said that, that will allow the Real American Hero newer updated figures. And they did say that was Emily's idea. They reiterated Emily likes the super weird figures. I don't think she has the say that people think that she does. Matter of fact, I don't believe she has any say really in what figures are being made. She can probably nick some that come down from corporate, but I don't think that she has any bearing in what they say. Lenny is the main designer. He decides what's going to be done. She may say, hey, we don't have in the budget to do that character. Lenny really went into detail on that. He really went into detail on that, and that's the reason why you have to do obviously repaints. Again, that's all for the budgetary reasons. Or when you create a new figure. And Tony was all excited when he was like, yeah, when you realize you already have a part, so you don't have to mold it, because that's money. That is money that's coming out of their budget. So they discussed Falcon. They discussed Falcon, and this was something that was discussed with me, that Lenny had told me all the reasons that the face was bad. His words to me is, that head sculpt will never be used again. And Tony not only said, he made a comment about things changing. What I read there. Tony says, always looking to improve, when they were talking about Falcon, and then he kind of did this stare off, like, you're going to get a new Falcon head. Now, I think what they should do is, if they do a Night Force Falcon, they should do a Night Force Falcon with maybe some Night Force paint on it, and then give you a regular head sculpt. So you can drop that on your Falcon and get rid of that whatever it was they gave us. But they specifically talked about the reasons that it happened. And again, if they're lying about it, they really have their story together, because everything that he said, it kind of went hand in hand. So, I did not say hi to Frostbite when he jumped in. How was the bloody head sculpt moved through quality control? All right, so I think I can discuss this by now. So there was an issue with the sculptor that was doing it. He didn't want to do it. From what I understand, he no longer is doing any sculpting. He didn't want it. I was told they went back and forth. What eventually finally happened is that they got it. They said, fine, this is good enough. But then when it went through the actual process of molding it, he said, you look at the dimples on his the dimples and everything. When it started to cool the plastic, it actually shaped the head different. So he said the original head sculpt that we agreed upon, which was not what they originally showed us. So I'm not trying to say the one they finally said, yeah, we will accept that one. When it went through all the processes, and I think you can see this before. I'm sorry, if you look at the Valiverse Duster figure, that looks awful. His head looks like he's Falcon's cousin, to be honest. It doesn't look anything like Tim Kennedy. And that type of stuff happens. Now, I don't know enough about it. I just know what they explained and what they talked about on the interview. It was pretty much the exact same thing. So, but I think it's safe to say that Falcon is coming with a new head. If by any chance the island, if the crustacean island says, hey, you know what, they're going to be a new head. Lenny said that he would never use that head again. Well, you know where he got his info from. And Lenny discussed, creating new characters, a lot of the repaints, the mix and match. This is what companies do. Mattel has done it for years with creating new characters. You look at Valaverse, they do the exact same thing. They've been running off $3.50 for, I think, 3 years. They mix and match. They have a lot more tooling that they can use than the smaller companies, but every company uses the mix and match. Now, the repaints have always been part of G.I. Joe. It's always been part of G.I. Joe. I think it's good that they use those lines to go to Target and to Walmart. I never really cared for Python Patrol or Tiger Force. I think the Python Patrol actually looks pretty good, and I think the Python Patrol actually looks pretty good. And same with now the Tiger Force. They've really toned the stuff down, but that is where you try and increase your budget. Now they fully didn't get this question when they asked about when will the next retro line be coming out. I thought that the guys were asking, hey, when will the next one be coming out other than the ones they've already given us that are pre-ordered? We already know when they're coming out. So I don't think that they understood the question, but they did say that there's a big banger in there. One will be shiny. Viper Island is saying it's going to be vac metal. You can do shiny without doing vac metal. There is a reason why they don't use vac metal on the plastics. I know people didn't like the answer that Brian Flynn had with Super 7 because he said they can't do it. Really what he was saying is we can do it, but it's going to flake off. He did it for him, but also said if the stuff flakes, that's on you. I don't want to hear about it. We told you. We'll see. You think this day and age with technology, they could do vac metal, but there's other ways to make something shiny. The fact is, we already know that the other Cobra Commander is coming. It obviously eliminates a hooded Cobra Commander, but his face is shiny. Unless you're going to do another Destro and make that shiny, I don't know why you would. So they talked about the brand and the in-house success. This was specifically where they said, Lenny said he thought it would be in and out. Hasbro had no faith in this, and this is where I go back to people had been trying to get have been trying to get G.I. Joe up and running for quite some time. And they finally got the okay to do it. I think they thought it'd be 2 years. I think they thought it'd be like how the Ghostbusters is. A few products here, a few products there. We're going to take you off. We're going to move you over here. We're going to put you back over on this team, put you on this team, whatever. Well, they didn't really realize how much people wanted these figures. And it is by far the hottest adult collectible toy going right now. And I mean, that's over all the independent companies who do wonderful jobs. And again, they have an easier time when it comes to fixing things. They don't have an easier time because I'm sure they still have a smaller budget. Bobby asked about mask. I don't know why he asked about mask, because even if Hasbro did mask, there's no telling if they would do like that. Emily would be the brand manager or the marketing manager. There's no telling that Lenny would do it. I don't know how Lenny would even have time to. He's swamped doing G.I. Joe. A matter of fact, they can't do O-rings because there's not enough stuff. And Sabir says, yeah, Parth Varma worked a lot of people like Wolf Spider as a new character. Yeah, and that's awesome. And Lenny has talked about how in past, he didn't talk about it in this, but yes, that's what we really need to grow the line. Now, they want it to be kid-friendly. They want kids to be able to play with it. I still believe that if I said, hey, you know what? If I said, hey, kid, take this rock and roll, get out of my hair, I worry that if you come back in an hour and be like, yeah, his leg broke off. And that's just because of the plastic in general. It's not made the same way an O-ring was. That plastic was more brittle, but it was meant to go back and forth. It wasn't meant to have all these different ways to move it. I'm sorry, knocked my beach head over. Still one of the best figures they made. Looks even better when you give them non-Nerf guns. Anyway, whew, I've talked a lot today. Chaz says, isn't it weird that they announced the TVC Haslab before the next classified one? The Dragonfly was before the Ghost. Again, Lucasfilm. They did discuss the issues with the last drop and how it went out. I believe it was on this one. At this point, I was trying to eat my dinner and finish up my show. But I know Emily discussed it. I thought it was here, how she said they're not going to let that happen again. She apologized for it. It might have actually been on the Full Force. But she did apologize for that drop of the tiger paw, right? Was it tiger paw? Yeah. How the tiger paw came. It went. Again, you're going to be able to pick it up. Now, people are really, you don't have to buy everything through Paul. So I don't know why people think that. But she said, she discussed it. Actually, I think it was on the Full Force, actually, where they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to give you ample time. They may not let you know what figure is going to drop, but they're going to let you know that there will be a drop, and that she did apologize for it. She makes mistakes. The Once a Man Cobra Commander, stupid Cobra Law. I put that in my notes. They said there's a lot of Cobra Commanders coming. I don't need a lot of Cobra Commanders. All right. We already discussed this. I already have 4 Cobra Commanders. I don't need a Cobra Law Cobra Commander. You need the retro one because not everyone has the Haslab. I'm fine with that. You need the Battle Armor Cobra Commander. And yes, you need the Hooded Cobra Commander, but I'm not holding my breath for that one. Yep, Derek. Okay, so Derek said, yeah, it was the Full Force. I don't think I actually finished that interview. After a while, you start to be like, I've heard all this stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. They kind of discussed the Once a Man Hooded Cobra Commander, Once a Man Cobra Commander Hooded, Once a Man Cobra Commander. But we're getting all that Cobra Law crap. All right, we can't avoid it. I want to avoid it. I mean, I could avoid it. I have issues. I wish they weren't making it because I wouldn't be tempted to buy it. I'm not even tempted to buy it. I'm just gonna fucking buy it. Why am I rambling on? Oh, because Monday Night Tour ramblings. And then they did the name drops. The Falcon, which will be in a 2-pack. Chris McLeod said that it is a Joe Cobra 2-pack. So interesting how they're going to do that. I don't know. Too soon. It should come out in I don't know, I would say 2030 never would be nice for me to have the Once a Man and Olive Cobra La. And yeah, they'd said another Cobra Commander. I don't know. I can't imagine that the name drop would be for the retro Cobra Commander, or the retro one that we already know we're getting. I know they've confirmed that. At least Chris McLeod has, which Chris McLeod doesn't confirm anything that he's not given permission to confirm. All right. And I don't care. Like, that's like, he's friends with them. Every company does it. They have people that they let stuff out on. Hey, you can tell people, they trust them. I don't have a problem with it. Every company does it. People just have an issue with Chris McLeod because it's not fair. Life ain't fucking fair. And then I talked about the Hooded Cobra Commander. It seems like, again, Chris, who used to be, now he probably wasn't as angry as I would, because I get tired because people won't do their research on it. Matthew knows this. You point to stuff. Hey, this guy said it. This guy said it. I was told firsthand by someone who was there. Yes, this is exactly what happened. The Bonaventure fucking says it. And people go, well, I'm not going to believe it. What don't you fucking believe? The asshole said that he fucking said it, and he's the one that put it in their heads. But it seems like Chris McLeod has come down on flipping out about it, which when Matthew pointed that out, he said, I think that, maybe that is coming, that edict is coming down. So it would be nice because I know people want to see it. Personally, I would rather have a Battle Armor Cobra Commander. I think there's a lot more that you can do with it. He was one of the few times that I saw a new figure and I was like, this is really, really cool. So, but that's it. That was the whole entire thing about the whole interview from A Toy Kind of Mood. I know that I feel like it may have upset some people. Again, there's a reason why I don't ask to do these interviews. And I'm glad that people do. So this here, all right, so right here, this is who I could see in that 2-pack. Someone said, Chris McLeod, he alluded to something, not with this, but who it wouldn't be. Major Blood, I cannot believe that they have not done a second version of Major Blood yet. He's a hard figure to get. He was actually fairly easy to get for a while. And when by easy, I mean you could find him. I was able to find him at like every Target for a while. But I can't believe they haven't done another Major Blood yet. Yeah, I would say he has to be coming with a retro card soon. And it is one of the best figures that they've made. And it was one of the early ones. Yeah, but he said someone else too. Or he alluded to someone else. Serpentor would make no sense because Serpentor is so much bigger. He's giant. He's like Super 7 tall. Yeah, I believe it's a named one. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad that people do these interviews. I do not, they're difficult no matter how you look at it. It is a corporate environment. They have careers. They're not working for $7.25 an hour and they're like, hey, you know what? I can make more money on YouTube. So you have to vet everything. And to me, if I'm not able to ask questions that will answer a lot of questions that people have in the community and for myself, then it's not something that I want to do. Would I do a Thursday with a friend with Emily? Yeah, because I think that she probably has a very interesting story as being someone who's very young, handling 4 different brands and just her upbringing and everything. She has to have some pretty thick skin because people say some awful, awful shit to them. And we all know this firsthand. Lenny was a wonderful interview. I think Tony would be. I told Tony's Figs, hey, this is where you need to reach out to him and say, hey, you do customs. We'd love to have you on a customizing show. It's nothing to do with G.I. Joe. We want to talk about how, we talked about how we customize things and how we did this. You talk about how you do painting and how you do swapping and different things like that. That's where you need to reach out. This is where you start making these connections. But again, I don't ask for these types of interviews. You have to ask for them in advance, because I'm not going to disrespect someone that I'm asking to have on. I'm just like I'm not walking into someone's work and being disrespectful for them. Someone wants to call me over and say, hey, you know what? I heard what you said. Let's have a talk. Walk over and want to have a talk like an adult. But just like I expect someone to, hold my feet to the flames and call me out for something that I said that is wrong, I'm going to do the same. I think that's why a lot of people will tune in here. But I'm glad they asked ask some of the questions. There are questions that I would, everyone has questions they would love to ask. And I think that anything that I would want to ask them isn't out of the realm. I'm not asking about future product. I would love to know, hey, would you be willing to go back and redo new bucks for the Viper and the Cobra Officer / Cobra Trooper, just like Star Wars team has come back and redone bucks for the Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers and different things like that. And same with Marvel Legends, when they go back and they redo something like that, something that you're going to use over and over and over. So my dog is passed out. Probably hear him snoring. It's kind of crazy. But I am going to get out of here. 3.5 hours. I did like 50 minutes last night of an impromptu, which I really only did. I plan on doing like 10 minutes of a little rant. 88 of you on YouTube still watching. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed. You got something out of this. Again, this is just what I saw, what I felt. So as I finish with this, here's the topic that I'm going to do for next week, I believe. And that is, and I'm bringing this up for a reason. I want 88 of you watching. So the topic for next week that I think I'm going to do, unless there's something happens, it is going to be about what character from any line, any franchise, any line, I don't care if it's like video games, movies, would you like to see or think that would fit in a toy property? So let's just say Snake Eyes in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't want like a whole cast of them. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is I'm going to try and do a thumbnail tomorrow or the next day, because what I would like for you to do is, if you have one that you would, if you have a character that you like, and again, it could be like He-Man in Thundercats. Now I know that's one that's probably been, thought of, and everyone knows Mask and G.I. Joe, whatever. But I want you to email me at punkwithtoys@gmail.com with a picture of who you would like and into it, along with your Instagram and your YouTube channel, so I can put it together. I thought about this on like Friday, but I'm like, I have to have, if people are going to email me, and no one will probably email me, but if you do and you have some ideas, I would love to get it so that I can show it up on screen, have your email up there, or not your email, have your Instagram or your YouTube channel. It's just to make it a little more interactive. it's hard to constantly come up with topics. I think I've discussed this before. Topics can be difficult. But yeah, I like the idea of just having crossing over. Yeah, Legend series here. Yeah, it says, I love crossing over. But yeah, so a punkwithtoys@gmail.com. Send me a picture of like who you think or who you would like to see somewhere. And I don't want like a whole team. You know, I don't want like G.I. Joe meets Mask or G.I. Joe meets, the Super Friends. Like one or two characters that you think would fit in perfect. That's why I said Snake Eyes with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Or you pick the Turtles fighting the Arashikage, like something like that. Just a crossover. I like ones that fit, obviously. Captain America in the Justice League of America. I mean, seriously, it's Captain fucking America. Or Captain America and G.I. Joe, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of weird ones. But I love to get your guys' interaction, and then I can show the stuff up. I can put it up there, but I definitely need it. If I tried to do that on Friday or Saturday, I'd have like one day. This will give you guys till Sunday to do it, because then I can go through it on Sunday and create it. I want to be done on my show. I like to have my show done before Monday because I still have to add some things in there. So I will be putting that up, and I'll obviously be putting it up in the Facebook group page. But as soon as I have it up there, I mean, you can send it over to me now if you have an idea. But just make sure you send me your Instagram and your YouTube channel so I can try and incorporate it all together. Yeah, please, Legend. Like this is how we create a bigger community and a better community, and we have fun. And then if you send me a super chat, I will show yours. If you don't send me a super chat, I throw it in the garbage and say this guy went through this effort, but did. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I do ask, hey, if you guys are, please, a lot of you are, use the affiliate links, especially the Amazon links. It does help support the channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything. Entertainment Earth, anything in stock. Use my code, a punk, and you will get 10% off anything in stock. And merchandise. It is up there. If you like it, go for it. Yeah. Pay for play, baby. I'm just no, seriously. I don't expect anyone to ever send me a super chat. According to Viper Island, I make loads of money off this. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys all. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button on the way out. This was one of the bigger shows. I had a great time. I can't wait to see how many messages were in there. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to this. Loki, it is a punkwithtoys@gmail.com. If you're in the Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, I will be posting that once I do the thumbnail. Hopefully I can get it done tomorrow, but you can send it over to me anytime. It's easier if you send it there rather than to Instagram, because that just gets completely clogged up. But everyone have a wonderful night, and I will be seeing you Thursday with a friend, with you, Matthew Matson, the moderator. You're actually going to learn about him, not just his modding skills. So I'm out of here. Have a wonderful night.